hopefully, oh Jesus Christ, I deleted the post I copied. Oh my god, everything is fucked. Everything is fucked. Guys, if I thought he had the stream key, and then he went live and he didn't have the stream key. But now we're actually live. I'm ACS0. I'm here with Sasquatch and 50 Senpai. We're ready for a semifinal. How are you doing?
Doing terrible. Fuck everything. Let's go see people be bad.
Hey, Lamau.
Yeah, no, I am really ready for some low-level League of Legends here. You know, this is obviously two of the teams that finished the season 2 and 3 in that 5-way tie. So obviously there are major questions about both of these teams. We saw Dang My Mom play last week. Not the cleanest. They showed a lot of mental fortitude, so they had that going for them to come back in a reverse sweep versus last place tilted forward. But they were in a place to need to pull a reverse sweep, which is never a good sign, and they had some just very questionable early games. And then on the other side here, we've got Muffin Men, who secured themselves a bye via our 1v1 tournament tiebreaker. And they maybe the team with more questions because they've played very few games with their full starting roster. This, I will believe, is only the third game all season they'll have had these 5 players all in at once. So we could imagine there's a little more upside for Muffin Men, but we're about to find out.
I think in reality we've come to face the fact that all these teams are shitters. It's just a different variation of different types of shitters.
Well, that's why we call it the Baddie League.
Exactly. So we just have to see who comes out on top of that. Fucking.
And yeah, we're just gonna get straight on into this because I mean we're already running a little late, so we got a lot of League to play tonight.
Yeah, so this will be a nice advantage here for the Muffin Men in this draft. They obviously have a full best of 5 worth of picks they can look at to come up with a draft strategy here. Whereas, like I said earlier, the Muffin Men has played so few games with their full starting roster. We're probably going to see 30 feeling things out a bit more in this first game.
Yeah, well, I think we'll kind of see, like, we noticed that 30's team's draft strategy last week got better as the nights went on. Their first 2 drafts didn't go very well, but by the third one, they kind of had things figured out, and it just improved from there. I wonder if we'll kind of see something as well with this night. Pretty expected bans from Muffin Men. No surprises there. And not terribly surprised at the bans coming from Thank My Mom either.
Yeah, all pretty standard stuff. Cameron getting 2 of his 80 carries taken away. Wang losing his Zillion, which is going to obviously be a big enabler of Cameron.
Especially these are the bands we should have seen in previous weeks. Lux Echo, things my team forgot to ban, and we saw how that turned out. Contagio getting the Lux and just one-shotting people, and I think that's something that they realized is a big threat to Camera, especially. You know, it's an ADC color, and they don't want that to threaten their star 80 carry.
Yeah. So first pick of this draft going to be Purple Pickle Pie picking up Poppy. Presumably going to be Purple Pickle Pies in the top lane, and that's not too surprising of a pick. She's obviously, if you've been paying attention to Worlds, something that's come super back into the meta. Poppy is great because you can run her blind into any top lane, and even her bad matchups aren't going to go that badly. And that's something that in the late game just gives Purple Pickle Pie some of that huge playmaking potential, in addition to being something that can peel for his 80 carry effectively, which when your 80 carry is Cammer, probably a good idea. Because Cammer has been quietly ranking up. He's currently sitting in Diamond 3, which is not only the highest anyone in the league is rated this season, but it's one of the highest anyone has ever been in the SBL. I think, Thrifty, you've only been above that number maybe twice.
I've been above that 2 seasons. I've been Diamond 1 2 seasons. But yeah, that was 3 and 4.
Get good, Cameron.
Yeah.
Get good.
Wes was there, I think, season 4 or 5. Wes was in Diamond 3 at one point.
Yeah, he's briefly forayed in that area, but I don't think he's ever been able to maintain it for very long.
No. We normally see Wes hovering around D4, upper D5.
And Plat 1. Hey!
Savage.
Got him.
That's for next week. We have to make those jokes next week.
I'm sorry, that's next week's jokes.
Yeah.
I had my notepad on the wrong page.
That's all right. I like these first two picks coming up from Dank by Mom. We see the Ezreal pickup, which we know is one of Hibbs' preferred 80 carries, and it's also one of Cameron's preferred carries, so that means like effectively 3 bans on the Camera. And then the Hecarim is like the only jungle we have seen Simply Zach perform on. The difference between his Hecarim and everything else has just been absolutely massive.
Yeah, and it's kind of lucky for him that there have just been higher priority bans on his team. The Lux, Victor, Echo, those are all champs that we've seen taking over the games and have a huge impact for Contagio and On the Wind. So that really frees Zach up to take this Hecarim in a first rotation in almost every game, which we've been seeing DBM do now for quite a few games.
Yeah, once they kind of realized it, that made a lot of sense. I don't actually know if we've seen Contagio's Lux. I think it's just everyone else is like, alright, well, we've seen him do everything else, and then we don't want to deal with the rest of it. It's just like, we've seen his other champs, we've seen him do good on those. This is his best champ by far, so let's just take it off of him.
I think this is the first On the Wind Kennen we're going to see this season. I don't think I've ever seen On the Wind play this champion before in my life.
He recently started practicing it 2 weeks ago.
Did he? Okay, yeah. I was kind of thinking about, as they picked the sleeper Poppy pick, and that could have been jungle, it could have been flexed into top lane, and then with this Olaf pick, it's so solidified putting the Poppy in the top lane, and started making me wonder what On the Wind is going to be playing with the Echo Band, and I really doesn't really play all that great into the Poppy matchup. And then with an Olaf and a Thresh, there's really not a whole lot of squishy targets that you can really get on and kind of one-shot, which is what, On the Wind is kind of known for doing. So I was really interested in seeing what his pick was going to be, and this Kennen kind of threw me for a loop.
Yeah, On the Wind has traditionally been somebody that even if he doesn't play a champion, if it becomes a major meta pick at high elo, you'll see him pick it up, grind a ton of games out, and at least figure out the basic, and trust in himself to execute it on the big stage. So given that this has looked like probably the most popular top laner at Worlds, I'm not at all surprised to see him picking this up.
Yeah, no, Kennen's been absolutely massive on the world stage. He's something that's been kind of powerful for a while now, and it's just he's finally been brought into the limelight. The buffs a while ago to his ult and his W, where his W applies automatically to everyone in the ult, even if they don't have a charge on them, just really upped his consistency onto what was already a very consistent, like a champion that had really big playmaking potential as well. And then when you just add a consistency onto that, it makes a really, really scary threat. And something that you can see in the SBL is that it can be a flex pick, as we see them hovering this Aurelia Gnar. I doubt it, but Kennen does work in the mid lane as well. Not as well, because his wave clear is kind of awkward and can be abused, but it's always an option.
Yeah, that's what I expected to see.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can't play Lux, might as well play Ziggs.
Yeah, I mean,
kind of does the same thing.
That has basically been his 3 champions we have seen him on, is Lux, Victor, and Ziggs. He really likes to play these champions where he can just neutralize a mid lane matchup by having extremely good wave clear that's very long range.
You know what I'm thinking about this, I think this is going to be a bloodbath game. I expect to see multiple kills very early, and then huge 5v5 team fights. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of macro game. I think it's going to be just a 5v5 bloodbath. Whoever wins the team fight gets an objective off the back of it. I don't feel like there's going to be a whole lot of macro play involved in this game.
Cameron's going to be very careful on his positioning, though. Jhin being a very immobile champion. They do have some decent peel with him, with Thresh, Poppy, and Malzahar, but there's a lot of very heavy hard engage that can come onto him with this Hecarim, Nautilus, and Kennen.
What I'm really worried about is this Kennen Ziggs AoE kind of AP burst that they have. I think if Camera gets stuck at all in any of it, they lose this fight 100%. Because I don't, as a resident Thresh player, I don't think there's enough that you can do to keep. Because we've seen Contagio on this Ziggs pick. Those Mega Inferno Bombs in the mid to late game are doing, 7 through 1,000 damage, depending on where inside this range you are. And I just don't think Camera's going to be able to survive it if he gets caught.
Yeah, this is a lot of pressure on Cameron's shoulders to be playing an immobile carry versus that lineup. I mean, in addition to the damage, there's just the CC coming out of the Nautilus and the Hecarim. Everyone is obviously going to be gunning just for Cameron in these fights.
But I respect this draft out of DBM. You know, you pick the Ezreal and you say, okay, we're gonna, and like Thrifty pointed out, you're gonna take the hit and you're gonna give like that quote unquote third ban by tapping into both Hibs and Cameron's champion pool by taking away that Ezreal, which is kind of his safe carry. And then you're gonna say, okay, now pick your champion. They lock in the Jhin, and then you draft Kennen, and you draft Nautilus. You already have the Hecarim, and then you have Ziggs, who's another safe carry. You draft this huge AoE team comp that says, all right, you can either come at us and fight us, which we're gonna win, or we can engage on you with the Nautilus and the Zac and the Kennen, or the Hecarim and the Kennen, and they're gonna win that fight as well. So it's gonna be a lot of pressure on Muffin Men to pick their fights.
Yeah.
I will say, though, I am actually very worried about this Muffin Men comp the more I look at it. Thinking if this game goes late, I don't see what Muffin Men can do if this game goes late and they haven't blown the game wide open, because there's just going to be so much better scaling coming out of Dank My Mom. Mm-hmm. And then to top that off, Muffin Men is going to have a really hard time getting an advantage in mid-game because there is so much wave clear coming from that Ziggs. They're going to have to find big picks around objectives and then turn those into turrets. And Clarity's teams have traditionally played very well around their win conditions. I could see them out-rotating around the map, forcing Muffin Men to not be able to do anything but attempt bad sieges.
I think this game's decided in the first 15-20 minutes of the game. I think if Muffin Men forces the early game, I think they really have the early game advantage. I really don't think that when this goes late that Muffin Man stands a chance to win. You have the Thresh, you have the Jhin, you have the Malzahar, you have Olaf. That's a lot of early to mid game skirmish team fight, you know. And I don't think if it goes past 20 minutes that if they haven't given themselves a substantial lead, I don't think they win this game.
Yeah, they do have options though. Poppy and Jhin both allow some flexibility in the options department, just with how you can zone people out of the fight with Poppy or Jhin, allowing you to make engages onto people that you normally shouldn't be able to, just because of the insane range from it.
Now, the only
one last point I wanted to make before we get into this game here is one thing I'm curious to see. Cameron, so obviously this is his first season in the SBL. He's not somebody with a lot of pre-med experience. He's got that sexy solo preference badge in his solo queue. And we sometimes see he does what solo queue players do, where he goes away from his team at the wrong times, especially when he has big advantages. And he spends a little too much time off in side lanes and getting a little extra farm that he didn't necessarily need to be getting at that point in time, and not helping his team press their advantage. And he is not going to have the leeway to do that versus a team with 30 shot calling. So I'm really curious to see if he ends up making that mistake, and if we see some super fast, hard engages come out of simply Zac and On the Wind in 30. Because there is potential for that to happen. And that's another one of the ways I could see 30's team, not getting behind early.
I definitely agree with that. Something, and it's actually a game that you were spectating and actually casting for, was the Hellwreck game, where Hellwreck was like in the bot lane and he got caught out because he was pushing like one extra wave, and you made a comment about this not being solo queue, and I see Cammer and Hellwreck both kind of have that mindset that they're working their way out of. The solo queue mindset, push one more wave, getting that into tower, and that's just not going to work against pre-made fives. So you could definitely be right with that.
Alright, so loaded in a little late here. I think that might have happened on stream as well.
Yeah, it did.
It looks like we didn't miss anything at level 1.
No.
Just a little bit of vision trade. Each team dropping one ward down. Pretty boring start.
Yep, I'm going to be really quiet here while I'm trying to get some stream stuff set up real quick.
Alright.
Alright, so looking at this level 1 here,
what is this pinging?
They're just trying to annoy the stream.
Jesus
So,
Christ.
fuck you, Muffin Men. Ban lost the game, too.
Alright.
Alright, so we saw
not-
Purple
nothing
Pickle Pie. Looked like he wanted to maybe do some harassing against the enemy blue. You know, Olaf kind of get really, really low in the jungle, but... Or sorry, not Purple Pie. On the wing wanted to do that, but Purple being there kind of scared him out of that, so unfortunately no play is going to happen early here.
Some really good trading coming out of the top lane.
Yeah, definitely want to watch that. Kennen, he's got one of the best level 1s you're going to get in top lane. I mean, he's very strong in general in any phase, but a good level 1. And that's kind of Poppy's worst point, so we're going to want to see if Onlin's able to abuse this more.
Well, it's this double-edged sword, you know. You're this ranged AP building top laner that gets to build Doran's Blade level 1 to harass. Like it's your level 1 is the strongest that you're gonna get in the early game.
Yeah, and his level 2's also like, and it's like you get this consistent source of stun. Like if you get an auto with your W and then you use the W, you proc Thunderlords. It's just really rough.
But a fight happening in the jungle here. Simply Zach finds the Milk invading at his red. And Zach is being chain slowed down here by the Olaf, even though Milk is a level down. Forces him out, but now Milk is a bit cut off here. And he manages to charge his Contagio's face and force him to jump away there. I think Contagio could have just stood his ground and tried to fight that.
That was very ballsy of the Milk. I will give him the benefit of the doubt there, saying, you know, maybe I could go take the red triple buff and get an early advantage, but didn't quite work out there.
That has to be one of the most Milk plays I've ever seen. You know, run into the enemy jungler, be a level down, fight him anyways, and successfully zone him out of his jungle.
I mean, it worked out for him, so can't complain too much.
I mean, he didn't get the red buff, but yeah.
Yeah, it definitely could have gone better.
It could have definitely gone better. Yeah. It could have also gone really bad though if On the Wind had collapsed a whole lot faster. That could have been first blood.
But there's a nice hook on the camera, but Hib's a little too far back to follow up. And now we see actually Howard and Camera pushing forward. They're putting a lot of damage down on the 3. The Camera has to go for a bad reload there. But here comes Devout Milk. They're probably going to just force the Arcane Shift out of Hibs. And Devout Milk is actually taking a lot of keys out. He gets hooked. He'll actually pop, but I don't think that's going to be enough. Devout Milk goes down first one on to Pyro Hib. And he might be able to get more here. A defensive flash out of Howard. And now there's the flash out of him. The auto attack for the double kill. And now to kill off on the Camera, who has just a flash to get away. And him's trying to aim the Q, but he's not going to hit the Mystic again.
What a disaster.
What a phenomenal start, though, for that bot lane. Milk went a little too deep, and then he got the red buff, and that just, I mean, that let him get the kill on Hellrick, the slow, let him flash out.
I mean, are we going to talk about how the only reason that even was a thing is because he went to go grab his axe? He wanted the cooldown on the axe, he went up to take it, and then just got destroyed by 30 and hit.
Yeah, no, that was bad. That was
so greedy.
That was really bad. But that brings me up to my favorite storyline I've had pointed out to me about this series. Devout Milk, in every season he's ever played in the SBL, has been in the SBL finals. However, my Wang, in every season he has ever played in the SBL, has not been in the SBL finals. So, Twitch chat, let me know if you're on Team Devout Milk or Team Wang tonight, because one of these guys is going to have to come out ahead. And so far, it looks like Milk on Team Wang there with that bad play. And actually, Purple Pickle Pie might get stunned here. A nice start out of On the Wind. Oh, but he doesn't saves.
Oh, he could have been able to pick up the kill if he was wanting to be a little aggressive. He had the W proc up on his auto, which does do some extra damage.
He also had 0 vision at the time, but here's a nice roam out of 30. Oh, JK is Malzahar, man. That's a fucking bullshit champ, dude. Like, this is why I quit League of Legends, man. Who the fuck wants to play around that shit?
Hashtag outplayed. Oh, I walk away.
SBL big plays.
The hashtag you're looking for is SBL Clown.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Those are our big plays.
Those are our big plays. We don't have big plays.
I really do like that storyline. One person will have their streak broken.
Alright, and now we see Purple Pickaby going with some kill pressure. A nice CCJ on the way. He has to flash at the last minute there. Does not respect the damage out of the Poppy.
That was just he should have just flashed that, like, right as the dash happened. There was no respect there. He could have had enough help that he would have stayed in lane. And instead now he has to back early. And Purple gets to shove the wave into tower.
Yeah, and he's going to have to blow his TP to get back to lane as well, so there's going to be a bit of a stagger on the TP cooldowns in this top lane. We'll see if Purple's able to utilize that to any kind of advantage.
Something to point out that you don't really want to see in this matchup is Poppy is up CS. I mean, Kennen does have a big wave here, but in this matchup, Poppy should be very, very far behind.
Alright, but here comes Simply Zach into the bot lane. They get a nice hook onto Howard. He does not have a flash available. He's not opted to be exhausted. He's going to be exhausted, but a kill onto 30, unfortunately.
I mean, there's a point that you have to stop autoing as a support and stop using abilities when you know you have to kill.
Yeah,
I'd love to see 30 to have some restraint there and get the kill over those AD carry.
I agree. And there's some people who kind of like get away with that one, but 30's the player who you know should be timing summoner cooldowns and whatnot. He should have been aware that that flash was down. That's just kind of the expectation with a guy like 30. And if he had known that flash was down, he would have known there was no way they were going to possibly lose that kill.
That's something that you see 30 do a lot, though. He is a support who does get a disproportionate amount of kills.
Oh, but in this top lane, we see My Wayne coming up with the big roam. Malefic Vision, and there's the ult on the win. No, not for the people, but a kill on the Wang anyways. And but on his bot lane, a hook onto him, who is barely making it out of this one, but he is getting away. There comes the exhaust. Him pops his heal defensively, but Cammer is shooting away here, and at the last minute, he gets another auto, and he is not done. 30 gets played away from the safety of his tower. He does not have summoners available.
My God.
So, his flash comes up right now. What the hell?
Oh my goodness.
My God. This is time, but I don't want it.
Oh my, this game is straight Cloud Fiesta.
And while all that's going on, both solo lanes have towers taken.
Yeah.
Knapovid has watched him out of that creep. Oh. Jesus.
This is why he's only Diamond 3. We all say that, well, none of us are close.
Yeah.
They have to secure those skills.
Now the gold lead did go over to Tank by Mom. They got the first blood tower, so they're up about 1,000 gold.
Yeah, they managed to keep the gold lead at about, actually it's a little less than it was at, so not ideal for them. Especially because the biggest thing to me is that they had a big lead in that bot lane, and they mostly threw it away there. Now, Cammer has matched hits on kills. Yeah, he's going to have a slight CS advantage traded for the assist gold the other way. And now Helric may be a little caught out in his own jungle here, but it looks like 30 doesn't want to chase on this one. They don't have much vision, and Helric's just throwing the anchor to be a dick there.
That is one of those things that Helric is lucky this wasn't solo queue, because in solo queue he'd be dead, and his team would have the enemy team would have just walked out and been fine, because who gives a shit about where the enemy team might be? But the lack of vision there that they didn't have in the deep ward, they had no idea where anyone was, and so he got to go home free.
It's just the threat of the team, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
And that shows kind of just the 30 shot clock. You know, they try to play the game properly. Regardless of who 30's teammates are, they're not going to sit there and charge in the fog of war to hopefully get a kill on the enemy support when they have zero vision to feel safe doing it.
Hey, you never know. This is the Swain Batty League after all. We'll charge into Fog of War if we want to.
No. Your team would charge in the fog of war. My team would charge in the fog of war. That's why these teams
That's
are
why
still
we're not there.
in the season, man.
Fucking got him.
I've heard a lot. Alright, so we see Tam. Oh, 30's gonna miss the hook. That might have saved about Mouse at least an ult there.
I'm a little bit curious as to why On the Wind's even down here. It's not like there's a dragon to fight for. I mean, I guess you could fight for the tower, but I would like to see him.
No, that's exactly what they were trying to fight for the tower, but I mean, this is the last thing you want to do. Like, this top lane is so botched by On the Wind here. Like, Kennen needs to win that lane super hard. Like, he cannot look at Poppy at this point. Poppy's got tank items now. Kennen is not scaled hard enough yet. And that's just him trying to make up for... trying to make a team fight happen. Because Kennen will still be able to have a bigger team fight presence than Poppy. But...
yeah, this kind of... ooh, a nice hook on the camera who's going to get chunked out a little. But this is kind of something that we've seen historically. On the Wind does occasionally, where he thinks he knows how to play a champion after just a few weeks of practice, thinks he's ready to take it on as a big stage, and then suddenly he's in an SBL game, playing this Kennen that he just picked up 2 weeks ago, and it just doesn't look like it's up to par. And that's an issue, when you pick a winning lane and then lose.
yeah, especially in a champion that thrives on being a lane bully.
Milk forced to pop an ult there. And I love that he just stands and trades 1v2 for a moment because he knows that he can. I don't even want to know if I don't know if I want to say that Milk knows that he can, but he could, and he did. Those may be unrelated. And now curtain call coming out of the bot lane, early arcane shift.
Okay, that was
Yeah.
spectator cam get together.
Spectator can't do that there wasn't going to be anything coming out of
It
that
literally
one.
just stayed focused on Jin during the entire
Oh,
thing.
shit.
Oh, but Hellrick gets put under the tower, and he gets lit up. Multiple power shots get out. He has to get out. Cammer, though, gets exhausted. He's... oh my god, Cammer and Hellrick both...
Oh, that's so...
What is this TP?
That was so late! Oh, shit!
Here comes the LPLTD on the win, on the Mount, who does not have an ult available.
Oh.
2 kills for Take by Mop, and now Purple Pickle Pie is in no man's land. And he's gonna fight this anyways, because he has balls of steel. And now Cammer gets the snare, and he's coming in to get the kill to 30. And this turns into a 2 for 2?
There's the rest of DBM.
Dude, directed
Where is
camera is
everybody?
boosted. And also those teleports, super boosted.
And here comes Contasio and Simply Zach because this fight is not over. Purple trying to steal for his carry. And a great onto Zach with the ult. A kill for Contasio. And now Wang gets jumped out. Hector's gonna die. Wang is gonna die. And now Purple takes
Walk away from the wall!
so little help. And there is the starter to the wall. Contasio has to flash out. And he's going to make it out alive. This is a clown
Oh my god. SBL Clown.
Oh my goodness.
There's so many bad things that happen right there. I don't even think we can talk about it.
And it ain't
No,
over
that's
because
it's just happened.
Everyone immediately rushes to this fire dragon. I've been saying it all season. Wang would probably give up the Nexus towers to get a fire dragon. So I am not at all surprised when Buffalo took a really smart spawn rush to the dragon, and they secured their first dragon of the game. So they have a fire to the earth coming out of DBM.
Oh,
And that
man.
was a side effect of the jungler and or the top laner and the mid laner fighting that fight so long. You know, that's kind of a side effect of that. They had to back since they were low, and that allowed them to go rush that fire drake down real quick.
Yeah, that's just one of those situations where it's really normal to see the shot calling get a little spotty, because when you spend so long in one fight like those two teams just did, no one is, by the end of that fight, but in the meantime here, Contasio is getting caught out, and he's going to nearly get solo killed by Wang, but walks out without popping any summoners, and now Wang is kind of in no man's land, gets 30 ultimated, the big bomb comes in, and Simply Zach with his first kill of the game.
I mean, that was a typical Wang play right there. He wanted it.
He hasn't looked the same since he's had a star shot caller on his team like last season. You know, some guys just don't know how to control their own characters. They need that guiding touch to help them find their potential.
I don't know. I really wish Wang would have really tapped into the meta champ pool. Like I think Wang on like the Victor and the Cassiopeia and stuff. I feel like he could have picked those up. And
no, I don't want to see Wang on Cassiopeia.
You don't?
No, not a chance. I do want to see Wang on a no.
I don't, but I don't want to see him on the stuff that he plays now either. So
I want to see him on a no. I want to see him on Aurelion Sol.
And but he hasn't played that to any success this season either.
He hasn't played it this season.
Well, then that's why he hasn't played it to any success.
For Sasquatch, you were supposed to prepare for your playoff matches. Jesus Christ!
Oh my God, you're fired, dude.
Somebody get 30 in here. We need a real.
Yeah, 30.
Hey, fuck you.
We're subbing and we're causing emergency team roster changes. For Sasquatch, you get your support ready. You're gonna go play support for DBM
Dude,
next game.
I'd be down for that. I'm down to clown. SBL clown.
That sounds like something Sasquatch has in his Tinder profile. It's just like a picture of his SBL Season 7 championship ring. It just says down to clown.
Down to clown. You matched me on Tinder, didn't you? Don't lie.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to tell everyone like this.
Yeah. It's okay.
I mean, it's not like it's a Swiss for Swift. It's just now you're out of two.
Alright, so, reeling this back a bit here. 2,500 people within my mouth. So, despite all this clown BS thing that has occurred, we kind of talked about this in the pregame. We really thought that Muffin Men were going to need to have a lead around this point of the game, and a decisive one at that, and they're instead behind.
I'm gonna like manually start taking control of this camera whenever Jin ults. I swear to God.
Oh, but Jin
Ooh,
and
wow.
at the cost of his life in the long run, camera goes down super Pinko, and now exhaust popped on development belt, but that was not a good exhaust. But it does not matter because Pelric has to end up blasting out here. And oh, the tower dive, not going to be successful for DBM, but that's going to be a kill and a big creep wave versus two low health, no way to remember. And no, Loud, what are you doing, my man? A kill, fourth of the game onto him. And Wang is perfectly high, intelligently taking this game into their own hands. They're shoving down the mid lane turret. This should be a trade of a better turret, but giving up kills.
Watching on the wind missing the cannon creep right there tilted me a little bit.
not bad.
Yeah, I can tell On the Winds never really became a real laner because just when you're a real laner, you don't miss that cannon creep, man.
You die for that cannon creep.
I have died for that cannon creep.
That's why you're retired.
Yeah. Oh my god. Like, he has proto belt also. Like, if you have, like, I mean, he shouldn't have missed. He could have just freaking, well, like, E through them all, W'd proto belt, and they just all died.
Okay, we already know he's boosted because he bought a ruby crystal instead of going into a Zanya's hourglass. So
Guys.
he's definitely never played this champion before.
Alright, Twitch chat, I need your help. How do I bail myself out of this one? Can somebody tell me how Tommy Danner photoshopped that? I'll give your team an advantage. I don't know what it is, but I'll find something to make up for your team. You help me get out of this bet.
Draft a third mid laner. Brilliant.
Got him.
Alright, next season I'll pick you guys back up with Evelite.
Deal. I'll make my long-awaited move to support. I'll support Evo in the bot lane. We'll get shit done.
So, 30
Okay.
caught out completely blocked, and now Gazeko also got a he just the Malzahar ult, and he is actually cutting back, and now Onward is very strategic collapse on Simply Zach shows up and he is forcing Cameron out of this fight, but he's not able to go any deeper. He gets there around a lot of full health members who are going to finish him off. Kill for Cameron. But this fight is not with this, but now Kate is caught with no arcane shift available. He is exhausted. Gets the shift on cooldown, but Howling is on the chase. And he actually gets stunned out of this fight. A kill for him. A 1 for 2 so far. But then that over
Wow.
What the hell? Gonna
That was not worth it.
Trade kills.
You should never trade your flash as Jhin offensive like that when you have your team you have shutdown gold on you. Your team just won the fight. Why would you do that? That makes no sense.
Surrender failed for blue team. 1 out of 4. 1 to 4. Bum bum bum.
Let me tell you guys something. In an SBL best of 5, you never want to see a surrender vote pop up in the first game. That is... I guess that's something we haven't really touched on. If I had to take a guess here, it's got to be either Camer or Howard, I imagine. The guys that don't have the pre-med experience.
Camera FF, 100%.
By the way, if you could you move chat on stream so it's the whole log is visible?
Sure.
But yeah, it's possible that those guys who have never played a best of 5 before are actually tilting right now. And when you tilt in a best of 1, it's not a big deal. You just lose the game and you get into a 5-way tie. But if you tilt in game 1 of the 5, like that can be a big deal. A lot of I've seen a lot of teams that have just tilted their way out of series that were competitive before.
Is that always the outcome of tilting on a best of 1 is you end up in a 5-way tie?
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, like that flash though is some pretty. I mean, it's pretty high feet and pretty fucking boosted. I traded my life and my flash to kill someone.
Who did he kill?
He killed Hibbs.
He killed Hibbs, right?
He traded himself for Hibbs.
I mean, he took his he got his bounty, but it's just not worth it. Especially on Jhin. If it was like Lucian or something, I'd be like, whatever. But Jhin is just one of those champions you just can't afford to do that. Because now you go ahead.
All of that dive that's available out of tank by Mom. I mean, now they know that they have 4.5 minutes before Cameron can flash out of a fight. Like,
yeah.
I can practically see the 10 to 30 spans of that.
However, which makes me really sad is I wasn't watching times, but Wind also used Protobelt when he jumped in. I don't know if he opened up that fight with Protobelt, I'm not sure. But he could have killed Cameron on that initial push.
Purple Pickle Pie teleporting in here, and Muffin Men have the inside track on this Dragon. Purple Pickle Pie is going to try to zone Simply Zach out and going to succeed. And now we see some Pokemon out. 30 goes for the pull on the Wang, who is a little deep, and maybe puts on a lot of AoE. Wang gets picked to start this fight off. Not good for Muffin Men, and they are charging forward. Develop goes down as well, and Hammer is so deep in this fight. 30 trades his life for 3.
Keep in mind, On the Wind did not have his ult that fight. I was looking at On the Wind to see if he was going to pull the trigger, and then I looked and he still was on cooldown. Like, his ult was still on cooldown from last fight. If he had his ultimate there, that would have been a whitewash.
Yeah, that really all starts with Wang kind of just positioning too aggressive. They could have got that Dragon and just tried to get him out. And instead Wang ended up getting his life.
Yeah.
Here come the Rotato potatoes.
Yeah, it's looking like 30's team going to get mid lane tier 2 and about half the damage on the bot lane as well. And, oh man, Purple Pickle Pie, not in a great position there, but oh, a nice hook on to hit. But maybe, no, Wang will secure this kill, but on the other end, Development is actually chasing onto Onward, and it's a big stun, but he does not dodge the axe, and it ends up costing
Kobe!
Development gonna die at the tail end of this. 3-0 and 6 now for Contasio. minutes. So this feels like it's a lot later than 25 minutes into this game.
That's because we've had like fights non-stop.
Yeah, it's really rare. Not many 30 teams will pass the kill a minute mark, but we are comfortably over that right now.
Yeah.
But honestly, this is what we were talking about in the pregame. You know, we were talking about if Muffin Men didn't get a big lead early on, they would not be in command of this game. Sure, they're still in it, but they're not by no means winning this game.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's the same thing with the Jin pick. We were talking about Zach, and we were talking about 30. We're talking about On the Wind, how they're going to be on top of Hammer, and especially in that last fight, you saw it. Zach chased him down and killed him. I mean, pretty much for free, you know. So it's coming more and more. It's become more and more difficult for Muffin Men to close out this game if they want it.
Yeah, they're probably. I think they're Muffin Men to get into this game. They're gonna need something good to happen around Baron, and it's not Devout taking 2/3 of his health just trying to clear a pink ward.
But it's a pink ward, so it's worth.
So I don't know if any of you guys follow LS on social media, the Korean caster for Spo TV / analyst, former LCS coach. He's done a lot of shit. But he hates Olaf. He thinks it's one of the worst picks in the game, and he goes on a Twitter rant literally every time Olaf gets picked the world. And I would really love to just pay and send him this mod if he has to do a mod review of Spellbroke's Olaf game.
Oh man.
He'd probably shit himself.
Olaf definitely actually has some times where he's fine, but this is not this is not a comp where Olaf is good. Like, he doesn't synergize with the champs you're playing at all.
If you wanted this comp to work, you replace Hammer's Jin with Sivir, and then I think you got a comp built.
Yeah, that'd be fine. That would help a lot.
It also doesn't help that he just played this Olaf very poorly.
Yeah, no.
Really desperate siege coming out. A lot of big old throws. Pelic is going to die at the onset of this fight, and it doesn't look like DBM are done here. But actually, Simply Zach is getting it all by way for a return kill. And Purple Pickle Pie is going to throw the hammer into this game. And now, the Belt, what the hell are you hoping to accomplish? He's going to go the other. Here comes off the win. He blows off Hammer at the side of this fight. And there's this moment. Wang has to flash the 30 hook. This chase does not look like it's done. On the Win is faster than... No, actually is not going to continue the chase. A 1
No, you just take Baron. Like
30 can't decide which word he wants to take.
what are they doing?
This is...
Okay, there they go.
Oh, man.
This is a chance for Purple Pickle Pie to pray for a miracle. Both smites are unavailable in this fight.
The thing is that they remotely work this as a team. Ezreal and Ziggs all do more damage than any of Hoppy's abilities all combined do. Like with the two abilities.
Purple Pickle Pie. And yep, Muffin are going to go for the smart turn here. They're going to take out Purple Pickle Pie. And now Simply Zach has shown up just in time to smite this. Baron secured by Tank by Mom, but can Muffin get it? No, they cannot.
The story of that fight was just a bunch of boosted junglers. You had Zach ulting right into the wall and Thresh dying anyway. He could have saved his ultimate, and that would have saved him from getting ulted by Wang. Could have used it as an escape tool. And then you got Devout Milk, who I have no idea what he was doing. I mean, just pops his goad, pops his Ragnarok, runs in and just dies for free. So I don't...
Yeah,
I'm not entirely sure what he was thinking. I mean,
both the junglers in this game have been kind of lower impact overall for both these teams, but we've seen a lot of work coming out from other players. There's Olaf all down.
It's a huge engage tool.
Yeah, this has just been... It's been painful to watch develop this game.
It is,
There's been
it is not
no
bad.
point where he's done anything to threaten the opposing backline. And this is just some really good away positioning right now for Dank by Mom. Looks like they're going to be able to secure this Ocean Dragon. Actually, no, a fight breaking out here. Dragon's going to be secured, but it might possibly Zach his life, and it will kill, unfortunately, for Hellrick.
That's another thing where you shouldn't have been doing anything to him at that point. There
Are
was
you
no.
telling me that the Ghost Hecarim didn't have an escape?
No, I would never say such a thing.
Two free towers.
Yeah, that's, I guess, also considered not the worst for Tank by Mom.
No, that's like this is totally. They got the dragon.
And they got 2 towers top lane.
They got 2 towers top lane for a kill. They still have their pressure. Like his death timer is still shorter because he's one of the lower level people on his team. He's up now. They still have Baron. It's just it's straight
pie.
gravy.
That was a warning. That was a warning bomb. Next one's gonna hit.
That's very polite of him, Joe. I wouldn't do that. Alright, so 30 minutes into this game, we're looking at about a 9,000 gold lead and about 90 seconds remaining on this Baron buff for Dank by Mom. See if they're able to get any more turrets out of this, crack open this Muffin Man base.
I mean, they just have to use this Baron buff and use it to siege. They got the Ziggs, they got the Ezreal. They can just poke and try and siege this. There's no objectives coming up on the map anytime soon, so they don't have to worry about setting up for anything right now.
Yeah. I mean, you have a Ziggs and an Ezreal. Your poke is really, really strong. And with Ziggs passive as well for towers, I mean, you can just...
Ooh.
You only need to get 1 auto wave, and you're going to take this tower at a decent pace.
But Simply's actually going to go for a kind of bad roam on the bot lane there. He's going to be setting up that wave and kind of wasting the final Baron wave that DBM had there.
I like the idea of him going down to get that wave pushing. I don't like for the fact that he left when he did. I think he should have waited out that wave, and then he could have gone.
It was entirely about timing there. Because they had 1 wave of Baron, but now he's actually getting onto this tower. Pushing Crystal Pie as well, because he's being really chunked out bad here. Wayne comes in with the ult, they just feel like they have to kill someone, but Simply Jack is still going to make it out of the... Barely. But here comes the camera.
What was he doing there? Like, it's like he runs around behind the team, and then instead of just walking back out the lane, he runs into the enemy jungle and then just gets fucking sniped.
Pops this ghost and just gets rear-ended with that bullet. That was hilarious.
Unlucky is what they say in the business.
Overall, not going to be the worst Baron power play out of DBM.
No, I mean, they're still 8k up at 30 minutes with a team that scales better overall. They're still in a very good position.
Now we'll see what they opt to do here. I mean, this is a team that I think could super easily just set up a 5v5 siege and push down Shadowland.
I'll be honest with you though, from this game, if you're Muffin Men and you're starting to think about the draft phase for the next game, I don't really think you consider banning the Hecarim away. It hasn't been as impactful as it could have been.
No, I agree. I think for Muffin Men, this is way more about what they pick for themselves than what they take away for DBM.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I don't think there's any one champ for this DBM squad that's just changes their entire escape where it's oh my god, this is so much harder to deal with than anything else.
No, I agree. I think this is the kind of comp out of DBM that if you want to win this series, this is the kind of team that you have to be able to beat. You've already taken away some of the big power picks. You can't take away 10 picks.
Well, it's not even that. You have Muffin Men on this blue side, and they opt to go for the Poppy first pick rather than pick up the Ezreal for Cam. And that's where I think they made their biggest mistake this draft phase. I think all in all they had an okay draft phase, but I really would have loved to see them take away that Ezreal. It put Camera on his quote unquote signature pick, but instead you take Poppy and you give away the Ezreal, and now you're stuck on this Jhin, which was easily drafted against.
However, it's easy to say that all they have to do is win the draft, but the fact that this is the draft we saw out of game 1 for Muffin Men worries me. Because typically, if teams have a bad first game draft, that doesn't, bode well for them to have good drafts in future games because it usually means they just didn't prepare well enough. And now we see the late game Poppy dueling terror engaged on the wins.
Yeah, that's nothing new though. That's how this has been, like, pretty much the entire game. When he established that early lead over on the win.
I mean, but in terms of his scoring and everything, On the Wind has definitely picked it up since the early game.
Oh yeah, no,
he's
On the Wind's done fine in
5-4.
team fights. The thing is that if he would have been ahead like he was supposed to, like he'd just been gigantic. But he's done very well in
Here
team
we
fights.
go, the final fight coming up. Is that getting blown up at the beginning of the fight? Yet again, both top players are teleporting in, and a lot of damage was dealt to Dank by Mom, but will it be enough? Already a double kill for Kadejo as he is just chucking bombs from the tail end of this fight. Now, Purple Pickle Pie looks like he's going to be the third to fall. On the Wind dies with him, though, and Wang tries to put some damage over the wall. A 2 for 3, but the carry's alive, barely, for Muppet now.
What was that for On the Wind?
They should be able to take this tower though. Zig satchel charge. Yep.
And Camera sticks around too aggressively. He goes with a super.
What are these flashes? These flashes are atrocious. These are not flashes I'd expect from like the highest ranked player in the league. These are absolute garbage.
He was trying to flash the Ziggs bomb, but then the Ziggs bomb was too far to the left. He ended up flashing nothing. And then
he just
flashed
flashed.
on top of a reload.
He flashed when he had a reload up, and Zig still had his minefield. It's like, oh yeah, have fun, get fucked.
Yeah,
maybe
I don't know.
if Contagio was sitting at like 1-0 and 4 at this point, you can flash forward and like 2-hit burst them before he can burst you back.
And he
But
had
Cameron's
Zonius. You
7-0
should know that. That is just awful. That is all I have to say. I have done now.
Lag? Gotta be lag.
No, that wasn't lag at all. Like, there was move commands and everything in the middle of that. That was just him being stupid. Like, hyphy and stupid.
And now, his really getting caught out the stairs, but Jackie's taking very low. The Monument is showing up, putting down a lot of AoE damage. Wang going up. No, he's barely going to walk out of the tail end. That's 2 kills.
Oh
What a
my
huge
God.
mega throw bomb coming out of the ninja. But now, Canner is here with some slows on the tail end of this fight. Milk and Helrick are taking over, and Helrick hits no one with that hook. A 1 for 3, but barely stopped by the Monument.
Did someone say Dignitas? That's what that felt like. That felt like a Dignitas Baron call.
That was a pretty bad Baron call. Oh, Katago getting caught out.
Onto Contagio, and there's aforementioned Gogia Donut, but he ions the minion! Stop doing that, Hammer! He ions the minion over the wall, too!
Oh my goodness.
This guy is killing me. He's autoing so many creeps. It's unfucking real. Like that's some like straight silver shit that's going on right now.
Man, this game is like continuing to not disappoint though. This is just clown fiestas all around.
Confirmed bot Diamond 3 account?
No.
Alright, now we see Simply Zach getting caught out in no man's land yet again, but he's going to dodge that snare. Just wimpy little Olaf on him. He should be able to walk out of this one. The SBL playoffs have been pretty bad so far this season. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, no, they've been pretty boosted.
It really looks like we have 5 last place teams playing.
Yeah, I know. Like we said after the last regular game, like the last game of the regular season, the only thing the regular season taught us is that all of us are crap, and then Fizz on your Jace is slightly less worse than all of us.
Yeah, if I'm Fizz on your Jace, like I've watched now 2 full series and this first game, and I'm feeling very, very
Oh
good.
my god. If they play like remotely how they were in the regular season, I'd be like, fucking free. Obviously, you never know with playoffs. Stranger things have happened, but...
I just like to point out that Salvo pointed out something in chat that 30 is actually up 30 CS on Halrek, so therefore the game's over.
Is this a Baron?
Baron
True
plays.
Shot Barrage is coming to
That's
Ganon.
nice pop,
But
y'all.
Simply Zach is pretty far away.
That's Baron.
Being threaded by the Malzahar, and that is going to be secured by Devout Melt. But at one block, the Simply Zach can go hand into this fight. Omega Inferno Bomb puts down a ton of damage. The camera is trying to ult defensively here. But the hook forward, that is a second kill secured by Contagion. 10, 1, and 10. And DBM is not done chasing him. Now Wang is super low. And here comes SBL. And here comes out the wing on the tail end of the fight. Him coming in. And this is going to be a clean 0 for 5 A's for that Baron. A double for Contagion. A triple for Quoth Hibbs. And I think this is finally going to be a game 1 for Dank by Mob.
They have no creeps. It's going to be interesting to see if they can get through. They're probably going to get at least one inhibitor, but
No, they should be able to end the game if they tank it right, but we'll see if they actually go for it. I 100% expect them to. They have a lot of damage. They have 5 members. They have 10 seconds till a single member is up.
they do have a creep wave coming into the base.
And they have a Zig. Like, Satchel Charge will take these. Yeah, like, there's a tower.
I
now.
think they're only going to get the one with Purple spawning there. Milk is up, and yeah, actually.
Oh, he's got ult.
Nice
Okay.
ult out of his base, knocks out Purple. Sorry, 30 and Zach.
Yeah.
And now here comes the home guards. Looks like we're going to see Dank by Mom just try to maybe take this mid lane turret before they leave.
Satchel Charge is at work. Oh, God.
Technically, still in this game are the Muppet Men.
Yep. You don't have any towers, though. You got a 1 on the Nexus, that's it. Your big inhibitor.
I will say I'm very pleased with Wang's performance this game. He's actually had a he's had a pretty good game this
Wang has looked pretty sharp overall. He's had a few
Gets the
positioning
slow
errors.
onto him. He's gonna barely make that one to the top. He's very low. But now here comes the re-engage out of Dank by Mob. Now once like 10 Simply Zach gonna drop him out power ult and not die. But he gets snared at the tail end of this. Purple looks like he... No, just watch the zone this one.
Yeah. No.
Alright, man.
I don't like the choice on that pop, y'all.
Dank by Mob. And Simply Zach does not have a way into this pit, and that is going to be secured by the Olaf. So that is going to be something here.
The thing is that, like, Dank by Mom have the inside track here. They can just run in, and if they just ignore this mini wave, they get another inhibitor. That's 2 inhibs down.
And that bot lane inhibitor is exposed as well.
Yeah.
This could... the entire game is coming down to this series of gauges.
Like, you don't even need to fight this. Like, you can just take the inhibitor and leave. Or if you choose to opt in for this, then you can go for another, but...
Here we go, the snare comes out of Simply Zach. He is being jumped out. Wang puts down some damage. Milk putting down some damage. And the chase continues. But Develop has to turn out as well. Now Purple Pickle Pie is by himself. And now Howard, you're just a thresh man. You don't deal any damage. And DBM, we're going to this game is making a nice pick on the win. It's not going to be enough. In an awkward fight, but DBM are going to walk out with their second inhibitor of the game, and it looks like they want to ride this gigantic creep wave in the bottom. Go for the jugular.
Yeah, I mean, their own creep waves don't really matter too much at this point, as far as, like, trying to siege an objective. Okay.
There we go. Third inhibitor down. Now on the wing, going to spit out a huge slicing maelstrom. That's going to be Purple Pickle Pie down. One Nexus turret versus the world here. And DBM putting out a god damn, this big Punk is going to wreck that tower. But no one is zoning for Hibbs right now. And we might have to see some PvE come out of Dank by Mom here, which they will be able to win. But they're currently cutting it out. The flag forward. Camera going to get Contagion. Now Hibbs fighting solo on the other side of the fight. He is going to die as well. That is all 3 carry units down to DBM. They're also going to kill 30 just for Purple Pickle Pie. And they're going to find themselves time to stay in this game.
Yeah. I mean,
the triple.
they have a long way to come back. They got triple inhibs, so you're gonna have double supers coming in every single one.
Yeah, but that fight happening where it happened probably buys them out the mid and top inhibs. Because they're going to be able to
At
make
very
that
least the
pressure
top.
right?
I don't know about the mid inhib. It's 5 minutes per inhib. But yeah, the top one is coming up very soon here.
At least buying out one inhibitor is a huge deal because that stops the double wave of supers coming in for anyone that's unaware.
Double
And
supers is disgusting.
they'll also have the time to just straight push these waves out of their base. But this is just such a difficult place to come up with a plan if you're Muffin Men, because you know if you step out of your base anywhere, you have an exposed Nexus. There really is no best plan here, unless you manage to find a very stupid pick onto a member of Dig, by the way.
No, the only way you ever come back from like this scenario is when, in this case, the red team, Dank by Mom, throws multiple team fights in a row. And I mean like big losses. This is like 4 for 0, 5 for 1, 5 for 2.
There are only 70 seconds remaining until Baron Nashor respawns, so Take My Mom could wait that out and go for the PvE ending. But it looks like they would rather just set up in this base, and they are going to just head towards this exposed Nexus, or maybe the top lane inhibitor. But Something's actually pushing this team. They're going to go with the push on that Howler. And Ziggs is going to be tough on this fight. This should be the fight for Muffin Men. Cameron is trying to pick up his back on the side of this fight, and he's going to get the first kill. As Cataccio and Ezreal still not into this fight. They are just pushing the mid wave, and now 30 is being taken out. But Cataccio
trying to
and
backdoor
him
the
are going to
Nexus.
go to the Nexus. That's not a backdoor, man. That's a front door. You left that shit
Oh
wide
my
open with
God.
the key in it. And that is going to be a GG game 1 for Dank by Mom.
It was the plan all along. It was just a bait, mate.
All right.
Fuck.
Man, that was a sloppy game, but sloppy wins are worth just as much.
With a sloppy finish. Holy shit.
Alright, so if that's the series we're going to have coming for us, I think we're going to be in for a night, guys. So we are going to take our quick 3-ish minute break for caster break, and we will be back in a moment with Game 2 here. And then All right, welcome back, everyone. We are just about ready to get into game 2 here after that clown fiesta. I mean, that was a clown fiesta, but it was fairly
Cal-
decisive for a clown fiesta.
Calculated is the word you're looking for.
Calculated clown fiesta. Like 30 just executed the simulation. He was like, that's good enough.
Hashtag close enough.
So one guy I want to talk about after that game who is really quietly starting to have a hell of a season here, Contagio, who I was not aware was a platinum player. I don't think that was the case at the start of the season.
He was gold 1 or plat 5 at the start of the season. Like he was
Gold.
up
He was
there.
gold. He was gold one.
Okay.
He was climbing into plat when the season started.
All right, for some reason I thought he'd been a little lower rated than that, but this guy has really been outstanding so far in the playoffs. Obviously went up against Thrifty Senpai last week, had some pretty good performances, had another monster performance in that last game. He's just one of those guys who never seems to be too far behind after laning phase, and he's just been going off in team fighting phase. And is now drawing multiple bans and still being a monster, down on his third kind of pick.
Yeah. I would say, I mean, Ziggs is already, we already know Ziggs was his big pick. That was his big pick throughout all the regular season, with the Lux being removed. The Victor wasn't something that popped up until playoffs, so I'm kind of curious if someone's going to just maybe throw 3 bans on him and see what the hell happens. Just see how deep it goes. But that does involve letting Win get his choice pick of Echo.
Yeah, they also have options. It looks like DBM is going to be on the purple team again, so they will have a counter pick, presumably for one of their 2 solo lanes again.
That was what they started doing last week. As of game 4, they chose to be red side again. I think this is a team they prefer having that side of the draft.
Alright, so we will see what these teams try to do differently going into game 2 here. So far, nothing. It has the same first 2 bans, Lux and Zillion. And there it is, going to be the Ziggs ban coming out second by the Muffin Men, so not going to get a second chance at that pick is Contagio.
I think that's smart. I'm assuming his Lux plays very similarly, but the Ziggs is like, it just really fits his play style of how he is as a player, from watching the majority of his games. And we're going to see the same bans, and
Same rest of the bands, but that's going to be a big adaptation here in the picks with Cameron first picking the Ezreal that we've been waiting to see.
I think he felt really awkward not having an additional mobility option that last game.
Hey guys, he locked in Ezreal. It's GG.
And I mean, this is the perfect pick for Cameron. As we've seen, it doesn't matter what he's playing. He just loves to be that AD carry that's weaving in and out of combat, getting a lot of unexpected damage in places where the enemy team's not ready for it. And
No surprise here.
fun stat for Cameron and his Dick squad. That is his most played champ in rank in Season 6. And it is something he is sitting at a 64% win rate with his 86 games played, currently residing in Diamond 3. That's a hell of a record.
Yeah. Oh, the Lee Sin and Braum. I really do like the Braum pickup here. I think Braum's really solid against the style of play this DBM squad goes for. But as we saw, we've seen 30 starting to pick up the Zyro here, and Zyro does match up very well against Braum in lane. We actually are starting to see a little bit of it at Worlds. I don't know if we saw any of it in the quarterfinals, but we did see it showing up in the group stage.
And there's the Victor we were talking about. This is
That's no surprise.
this is the never-ending list of Contagio's picks that you can't ban him without giving him something else.
I mean, it's more of that. It's 3 people. It's like he has 3 champions. He's like always rotated between these 3. I don't think we've seen him pick any other 3.
I do find it interesting though because they are locked into this 3-2 ban on mid and 1 ban on top. Because if they swap out the Echo ban or the Lux ban or the Ziggs ban for the Victor, then one of the other ones gets through. And if they let the Echo through, then On the Wind will gladly pick that up and play it. And that's not something that we've seen Purple too much on too much of this season, you know?
And end of the draft, we're going to see Win switch that hover over to Irelia. So these teams locked in. Going to be a bit of what I would call a Wang special coming out of the Muffin Men with their triple 80 carry hardcore siege comp.
Yeah,
But
Corky
also-
does bring a lot of magic damage to the table though, so that is fine. Like they aren't just screwed on damage typing.
So how do you feel about the Lee Sin in this comp?
I mean, Lee Sin, if you're good at him, he makes a shit ton of plays that could really slot into any single comp.
But let's be real,
Something-
that's the last thing we wanted to see out of Devout Milk. Was Lee
Something
Sin.
though doesn't give about it just doesn't give me the highest hopes. He is in this comp. I mean, he does actually have a fairly easy rule. If you get ahead with this team, you just let your Ezreal, Corky, and Jace just set up an insane amount of poke, and then you have Braum and Lee Kick to just disengage. So, if they get ahead, his job's really easy. If they fall behind, this Lee pick is going to be really, really rough because,
Yeah.
like, if this team falls behind, Lee is the one you are looking to bring pace to get you back into this game. And while Lee is definitely a champ that's able of doing that, some of that stuff is very mechanically intensive.
I
Yeah,
don't know,
I just gonna-
I just don't think it synergizes. You know, you have an Ezreal. You
I
have
think
a
I think
Jace,
it's
and you have
energizes
a Cork.
totally. Lee fits in like every comp. Like that's the thing with Lee Sin.
I agree with
I
you,
would.
Pete.
I
It's
would
just-
I would disagree.
It fits in, but in a super, super one-dimensional way, which is why
Exactly.
I don't like this pick. I just, like, we thought they were a little one-dimensional last game. They are even more one-dimensional this game. They have to win this game in the
Yeah.
first 20 minutes with this comp. And when I saw the Lee Sin pick there, I just felt like this was, like, this team comp was Mumford and Sons writing a song featuring Eminem. Like, I didn't get it.
So what jungler would you see? Like, would you want in this comp then instead? Out of curiosity, I want to hear what you would think.
I think a Nidalee would have been really cool here. If you're gonna go someone damaged,
No.
pick
that
someone
would've
who pick someone who plays the poke game.
No,
I didn't say Devout Milk can play it. I just said that would fit the
I
style.
I think the Nidalee would have made this team even more one-dimensional because their only disengage would have been Braum.
if you pick Nidalee, you're 100% relying on like 2 of your 3 solo lanes winning and then snowballing that into advantage. You have 0 comeback potential then.
I don't know. Poke comps I've always found though, if you have only one, like I mean, you have 2 forms of engage, but if the Lee goes in and he botches his engage, or he goes in and who's he? And like, sure he can kick Contagio, but then you're gonna have 30. You're gonna have like Zyra, Irelia. You're just gonna get blown up. You're always gonna trade 1 for 1, no matter what. You're never getting out, and that's my issue. You have nobody to come back you up to try and get you out. You know, that's why I don't have high hopes for this.
Right. But
Like,
let's
you're
talk
always
about
gonna trade 1 for 1.
DBM for a moment here, since we spent a lot of time talking about what we think of Muffin Men's Cup. DBM, once again, they can feel really good about this draft, in my opinion, because they know if they're not super behind at 20 minutes, this should be their game to take. And they're going to be even harder to push on, because that is quite possibly the most wave clear you could pack into a meta composition, with Caitlyn, Zyra, and Victor all being basically the most possible wave clear at their respective positions.
Yeah, no, that's definitely really big for them. I'm really
And
interested.
I also really love that DBM is just selling out so high to pick a winning bot lane. Caitlyn Zyra is the strongest 2v2 lane in the game. And Cameron picking Yezreal first overall means he is going to be accepting a weaker laning phase. This is going to give 30 and Hibbs the chance to just shove the ever-loving hell out of their lane and not let Cameron get ahead early, which last game we saw. They were able to capitalize on a bad gank out of Develop Milk and start winning that lane really early. And it took a pretty heroic play out of Cameron to kind of pull that lane back to even. It's going to be a lot easier for 30 and Hibbs to get that advantage in this game.
Yeah. Something I'm really interested to see is in the top lane. Aurelia is like on the win, second most played champ by a mile. I mean, it's Echo, and then it's Aurelia, and then it's every other fucking thing. And Aurelia Jace is a super, super intensive skill matchup. And I don't know how much, I do not know how much Purple Fickle Pie plays Jace.
I will say I do love seeing that 3 Doran's blades start coming out of Muffin Men. It takes me back.
Well, it looks like we're going to see an invade here. I wonder if we'll actually get anything to come of it, though.
30 has sometimes had a tendency in these games to check a little deep. We'll see if he can do it from level 1. And there we go. The latest invade coming out of Muffin Men. They're going to walk into a bunch of saplings there.
Minions have spawned.
And bam, SBL level 1. Walk in, get seen, walk out.
Too scary, too spooky. Yeah, nothing surprising here. Pretty standard starts. Like honestly, I think in like SBL, as far as like what most people are doing, there's no point to level 1 unless you're trying to look for a cheesy kill.
So, Hibbs is an awful Caitlyn player. Let me tell you why. He tossed like 6 auto attacks out there, and he didn't do a single one of them from the bush to get the double headshot charges. He could have either popped a headshot onto that blue buff for extra damage on that leash, and then walked the lane with additional charges towards his next headshot, or just walked the lane with the headshot already charged if you want to play that way.
Yeah.
And up in this top lane, Wind actually takes a lot of damage there.
That was not a very good trade for him.
Now keep in mind, on the Wind has Corrupting Pot, whereas Jace uses only Pot for this lane.
Yeah, but Jace also just gets pacified stealing from that Doran's. So
Yeah, it's already 2 charges blown at level 1 by On the Winds. That's a rough way to start out laning Biz.
yeah. Aurelia doesn't do well for the first few levels, but like around level 3 and 4, once she can get all of her skills, when she starts taking off in it. So right now, it's like his goal is just really to survive. We might see a little action here with the Scuttle Crab. Lee does win this fight early.
Yeah, but,
Oh,
ooh, a costly whip. And Milk, leg? He's going to keep chase on his Zaki, though. The mid laners have not made it over to this one. Zach pops. Oh, the ghost is not going to be enough. He cannot finish the bubble. That's the first blood for the Lee swing there.
so that flash was really questionable, but it worked out for him.
Yeah, all's well that ends with first blood. And, whew.
Yeah, we're gonna start to see Aurelia taking over this lane. Unless Lee Sin has something to say
Unless
about
Lee
it.
Sin shows up. But he gets turned into a huge creeper there. He's not going to be able to tie with level 3 there.
Pretty nice play coming out of Devout Milk in this early game.
Yeah, he's had a lot of good map pressure. The flash is questionable, but everything else has worked out really well for him.
Oh, it gets lit up, and there's a bad flash on him. You know, only on the heel on a hammer.
I don't know. If your Hib's there, that's not worth flashing for. You know he's got heal. That is like...
And, like, flashing to get the heal out of there is just not a good call.
Yeah, it's just too hypey of a play.
And honestly, like, by making him burn, like, burn the heal there when you're that far up, it's like, oh, Braum gets to stay in lane for a bit now, honestly. Whereas you probably could have just let Braum go back and then get some time to zone Ezreal off the CS.
So far, these lanes kind of, or especially this bot lane, kind of playing out how I would have predicted. So, Hibs getting a few CS advantage in the bottom, but it looks like Howard and Camera want to fight this, but they got to be careful. Hibs is putting down a ton of damage here.
30 good spent his Ignite there.
Yeah.
I can't help but think that if Hibs had his flash there, there would have been kill pressure. But now in this top lane, on the win actually, no flash available. Sorry, he does have a flash available. Oh, he's gonna flash too late! The ranged auto attack follows him under his tower. And that's a kill for Purple Pickle Pie. And let me tell you guys about Jace. If he gets ahead, he gets rolling very hard.
Jace is a very snowball champ, especially he's not doing the tier build. That's kind of what brought Jace back into competitive light. He's a bit harder to play without a tier build because you actually do have to really about managing his somewhat awkward mana, but being able to go for that early armor pen and damage just makes him just snowball so hard. You just get to abuse those very large numbers.
Interesting, he went for first. So after getting 2 longswords, he went and got Swifties.
Now simply Zachary engaged on in his jungle here. Milk going on the chase, but Contagio is going to zone Wang out. So Wang actually has to pop his heal defensively. Still sitting on a flash. But now Milk is kind of in some dangerous territory here. But they'll be able to walk down the river.
Swifties is a really odd pickup there.
Yeah, I don't know.
I disagree with that.
That's a big amount of your early gold that you just got from your lead that you're sinking into Boots Swift.
Yeah. I mean, it's not going to crush him because he has the kill lead, but the thing was, like, the part of the reason what makes Jace so snowball at this build is that you're picking up armor pen really early, and armor pen is just a snowball-y stat in general because of the way it works in the game. I mean, Wen's just letting him do so much free damage onto him, so it's not mattering too much, but like, your goal is to get more armor pen faster than, like, people's natural armor growth is going. And that's just part of the reason why it snowballs so hard.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you guys. These Boots of Swiftness, that's a really bad pick out of Perfect Pickle Pie.
You see Boots of Swiftness also coming out for Devout Milk.
Gotta go fast, I guess.
Interesting.
Maybe it's a full team plan.
I was gonna say, this must have been some kind of team meeting they had. It's like, okay guys,
If
we're
we all
gonna buy Boots of Swiftness.
I mean, that's not a bad, like, end goal pickup for Boots, but
does make it in his bot lane. Hibbs does not have a flash available. And there comes the nicest jumping up the wall. Go for Devout Milk.
he's been looking good on this Lee Sin.
Got him.
Like, he's got really good map pressure.
Yeah, no, I know we all joke about Milk, Lee Sin, and whatnot, but I mean, this has traditionally been one of his most favorite picks, something he's played for years across all kinds of seasons of the SBL.
Oh, yeah.
Even if he's never been a world beater, it's always been something he's been comfortable on.
No.
And it's looking like the case today.
And I mean, like I said, like, if they're ahead, if this team is ahead, his job is not hard, and if he's fed, he's gonna do his job really freaking well. Like, you apply map pressure, and you feel for your team.
But alright, fight coming out completely exhausted, and a weird blowing of the summoners there, but Wang gonna pick up his team's 4th kill of the game. Meanwhile, Cameron going in 1v2. Maybe ill-advised there, but he should be able to get out. He's Ezreal.
What was that flash?
Yeah, what was that flash?
What was that?
like
Like that? He goes.
Bush juke without a
Oh
bush
man,
or
in this
something?
top lane, on the wind, has to go for the desperation return to the engage. And he's actually buying time. Simply Zack on his way, but it's not going to be enough. Oh, it's maybe going to be enough. Nope, it's not going to be enough.
No, Simply Zack would just lose that fight. Like 2 levels worth of stats and a minion wave.
And that was, Cam is actually in a lot of danger there. He had to flash there because Hibbs had a headshot available, and if that Q had landed, it would have gone directly into the Caitlyn ult and killed him.
Yeah. No, good on camera though to respect what was going on. All too many times you see people not respecting the Caitlyn like alt follow up afterwards.
But will he respect the Lee Sin? Well, he's going to dodge the Lee Sin. That's a good place to start. But here comes Wang. He drops the package and easily gets the kill. But 30 might be here to get some return damage.
What is-
And actually 30
What on
shows up.
earth?
Oh,
What?
no, it doesn't block the tower auto, and that's a double kill. And now in the top lane, Simply Zack shows up on the Purple Pickle Bot. Purple got the tower, but he's going to trade his life to on the wind. And is this not done? Are DBM going to get more kills? Now they're letting up camera again. We're going up by Contagion. That's 4 kills, and they're not done. Hellrick has to retreat under his tower, but that's a 0 for 4.
That was just, oh my god. That was everything that DBM would ever want to come back here. Like, that just turned this game's momentum completely around.
Right. I mean, Muffin Men felt like they were in just absolute control. And they still have a lead, but they went from absolute control to, you know, a slight lead.
Yeah, I mean, 1.5k is still a lot at 11 minutes, but they just gave up. It could have been a 2.5 to 3k gold lead, and that at 11 minutes is game-ending if played properly.
I mean, that was the most boosted tower dive I think I've seen this series yet.
And the worst
Well-
part about that tower dive was that they were setting up to take top lane turn. They had a huge advantage, and now Larry is probably going to get picked off for all this. He'll come out of the hip, and I'm not sure why. And they are chasing onto him here. Camera putting down a ton of damage, and he's going to force the flash out of him. But we do see Wang almost taking this mid lane turret in the aftermath of all this as well.
This game. Quality kick. Contagio is in a spoony spot, speaking of towers.
And there,
Nice!
Takes him away from his tower. That was an awesome combo to develop out, and that's going to secure a 3rd kill of the game for Purple Pickle Pie, and probably this mid lane tower as well.
Look at Milk putting this game on his back saying, I'm going to carry this.
Devout Milk single-handedly went from, like, the worst player on his team last game.
Alright, well, maybe he's still the
Back to
worst
the
player
worst
on his
Never mind.
And he's
And
back.
the tower goes down, but it was off a 1-for-1 when Purple finally tipped the skill onto 30, and now Wang is trying to buy time on the tail of this fight. That's going to be a 1-for-2 in favor of DBM. But they drop mid lane turret.
Yeah, but this Jace is getting very scary. I'm not really sure what's going on with this Jace build, but he's fed, so it's not going to matter too much.
At the Swifties, still, those don't sit that well.
I mean, he's got Swifties, and then he's got a Phage and the fucking,
I mean, that's going to go into
I don't
Black
remember what
Cleaver,
it's
which I
called.
understand, but why not the early Ghostblade?
You
instead
don't
of,
rush Cleaver, though.
Yeah, I
Cleaver's
know.
percent
I
armor pen.
I don't get it. I don't get it. It
Maybe
just
they think they
doesn't-
need the cleaver for their triple AD carry comp.
Even then, you don't go Cleaver first.
Hips?
You go Cleaver like 2nd or 3rd, because
Listen,
it's
you
percent.
don't know cleaver first.
I mean, I don't. It's percent armor pen. Do you see how much armor is built on the enemy team right now?
Purple Pickle Pie is an SBL semi-finalist right now. Did you know that guy won an all-star top laner last season? He's got to know what he's doing. But Hellrick and Camber, Stag not going to commit that case. He casually run through there.
Oh, it all makes sense. Salvo confirmed in Twitch chat he's on Purple's account.
Salvo would not be making these kind of ganks on this sim.
No. He's on Purple's account.
Purple's account. Nice.
Oh, wait, yeah.
The build path. It all makes sense now.
Salvo would be like this. Alright, so we're looking at about...
Yep, there's the Vi
3,000
Claver.
gold.
There's the Vi Claver. I
And
swear to
I'll
God,
look
if we
at
see
these-
Ghostblade second, tilted forever.
Yeah, that's
we're
what he's
going
doing.
to.
He's going Ghostblade.
I know he is. That's why I said it. I'm tilted.
Tilt!
Oh, this is a
I'm
beautiful world.
tilting! It really is Salvo, I'll be damned.
Now it's about
Wait
that
a second.
gold.
Wait a second.
Thanks, bro.
Oh, but right there in the second, so it doesn't even matter. He picked the kill up.
Oh my god.
And now
It was a ruse!
it up here.
It was all just a clever bait to get the double kill.
It was the plan all along.
I could not have. I understand. I doubted, but I understand. I've seen the light. I just wasn't looking 20 seconds ahead.
Devout Milk is just on a whole nother level than us right now.
I feel like I need psychedelic drugs to get this game plan out of Milk.
Even then, you wouldn't be able to comprehend.
This is beautiful. Devout Milk with the Prophet Blaze.
Alright, and it looks like put down here under both members of the DBM bot lane, but it's actually not going to be enough. Helmet out of the trap, and that turns into a kill for Iroh Hip, who is not done. Is done. On the win is not
What
out
was
with
that
teleport,
TP?
and now it looks like this might be the Hammer with the crit damage on the 30, pops the heal and gets the 1v2
What was 30 doing there? I understand why Hips was up because he thought Wind was TPing in, but 30 had no business there. 30.
Wind feels bad about canceling that TP now.
30.
Oh, I'm sure he does.
I was half expecting Zach to try to charge on camera and 1v1 there.
Yeah.
Hey, it's still possible. It still happened.
But yeah,
And this is now just shy of a 6,000 gold lead in 16 minutes here.
yeah, this is very snowbally. This is what happens when all your lanes win. Like, Milk got his
Doesn't matter
lanes
what you
going.
do.
Some lanes got themselves going on their own, but it's a big lead.
Yeah, it is a big lead. And looking like it's going to turn into a second dragon of the match here. Is Jesus Christ, Hammer's putting out so much damage. And like, he's not even...
I mean, if you look at this lane, I mean, Hibbs is not even in it. He is 1-3-1. He's level 8. Kamer has
God,
2
he's
levels on him. He has
2 levels.
40 CS and 2 more kills. Like, you, at that point, you can't look at it at
Hammer's
all.
sitting on 3,300 gold right now. Oh my god, and it doesn't matter. Purple Pickle Pie going in 1v the wolf, and he's gonna pick up 2 before going down. Now Cameron's deep, but it does not matter. And Ugly 2 for 2 coming out, and maybe not done because here comes Wang. And Ugly 2 for 3 coming out of this team, and they're gonna trade side lane turrets. And Cameron's sitting on 3,800 gold and rising after this turret goes down.
Yeah, no, this is where you're done. So, Trammer gets to
Cameron
go back.
just
Cameron gets to buy a full
4,000.
Triforce. Like, he literally gets to go back and buy a full Triforce.
Yeah, he gets my Triforce and upgraded boots.
It's the start that it's Swift. It's the start that you said they needed. You said this game had to be won by 20 minutes, and they're doing a hell of a job putting themselves up for that.
They didn't even listen to us in the pregame, and they're like, hey guys, our win conditions. Last game, we were wrong. We gotta just win fast. And Cameron was like, okay, I'll do it. And Development was like, me too.
Yeah.
Mom said I only have 40 more minutes with the computer, so we gotta make some fast.
Yo, Cameron is Dick Squat. I got a question for you guys. Is it at all a concern that if this best of 5 goes too late, that Cameron's mom would kick him off the internet because he's got school in the morning? Because somebody asked me about that, and I was like, I doubt it, but who knows? I don't know.
No, so high school was some time ago. I don't remember how it works. Oh, I know.
It wasn't like that where I grew up. But oh man, where I grew up was not like this, but on the win either. It's slowly
Oh.
the awful flash and he still ties the win.
No, he's a rascal.
No, he's a rascal. Got him.
We got him. Yeah, here we go.
Rascal too.
One guy says no, he's a rascal. The other guy says we not worried. That didn't answer the question, but I like the confidence.
Yeah, this team is done. This is like...
Where is DBM? What's going on?
They're just giving up their inhibitor, you know.
Oh yeah,
Normal
Just-
stuff. And it looks like
DBM,
actually,
just
oh
DBM.
my, nice ult out of Hellrick is going to stop any engagement that could have happened. And 30 is really fortunate.
You are
30
way too
you are
far
not
out, my
fast
friend.
anymore. And 30 goes down, and now Jack is making, he gets exhausted, and there's just so much fight damage coming out of this Muffin top. They get Jack's great kills for the mid laners, but it looks like Muffin are not up. The purple pickle pie is setting up for the long range here. And God.
Purple Pickle Pie and Cammer have, like, just every single person on this team has just gone off this game.
And that's the biggest thing. This hasn't just been the one-man Cammer show. He's been excellent, but everyone on Muffin then has been outstanding. All 5 members have shown up. And
Yeah.
that's they're playing like they want to choose. Definitely not like a team that tilted after their first best of 5 loss.
Yeah, because holy crap, this game has been really quick. Why are you getting Blast Whisper now? I am 100% Purple Pickle Pie actually has no idea what he's doing.
No, dude, that guy won first team All-Star top laner.
I mean, you can still be really good at the game and have no clue what you're building. Look at Salvo.
Yeah, I was about to say you beat me to the joke.
But Salvo, welcome Purple into your club and give him a hug. Because he is doing something you would be very proud of.
So how does DBM stem the bleeding? How do they
That
try
you
to get
don't.
hold of this game?
You don't.
That's not a very analytical point.
No, I know, but you don't. like
Fucking useless.
Oh man, because there comes the pack. And when My Wing brings his package down, people die.
I thought My Way's package wasn't allowed near high schoolers.
That's why he's bringing it to Summer's Rift.
Okay. Oh! But yeah, like the only way DBM wins this is if Muffin Men decide they don't want to win. Like you have to 100% throw this. When you have a comp like this and you're in this far of a lead at this point in the game, you 100% control your own fate.
So all they gotta do is make a mistake with their own fate. This is the SBL.
Oh yeah. No, this is SBL, so the game's not like totally over yet.
Yeah, I don't want to say it's totally over because I think that the late game is just so much better out of things by Bomb. They really, I mean, if they can not lose a second inhibitor, they have to fight for this turret. And they are a little slow, but there goes Triple Jack and a lot of damage going out. But I don't know if it'll be enough. A double kill for On the Wind, who moves this up to the hell out of the backline, and a nice level of 30. A triple kill for On the Wind. And they lost the tower, but they did not lose the inhibitor. And now Contagio goes to try to normal camera, and he does not succeed. But he buys more time. Oh, Cam's with some Cam's this place. Cam's going godlike. And Cameron Milk is gonna mop up this fight.
Yeah. Like
But when this respawns, going for his little buddy. Oh, and Devout Milk is gonna lead Sin away from this. But the bleeding has been... The end has been avoided.
it's been avoided, but I mean honestly that's like it should have just been a 3-for-0 and they chased a little far, but you're happy to take a 3-for-3 at this point from DBM. Unfortunately they also lost their top tower from that push. It's just like, it's just not a comp that's going to have an easy time coming back from this when you're that far behind. Like, Hecarim can engage, but you don't have any hard CC to follow. Like, you have to get like a Hecarim into Zyra engage pretty much. It's like the way you have to wombo and just hope you can get some like greedy plays.
Yeah, the easiest way to come back involved in having towers to fight under, which they no longer do.
Yeah. It's just when you're this far behind, like a Jace Ezreal Corki team, you're just, you don't come back. Like that's just, it's so much damage and like poke before the fight actually even begins, that even if it's hard to win sometimes when you're even, depending on the situation.
But DBM did manage to buy up the time for their inhibitor to respawn, so they have an opportunity to fight without any supers on the map right now.
Yeah.
They're gonna need to pick this fight as soon as possible.
And they need to take advantage of that. It's not one of those things where you can just like give up the inhib and then be like, alright, we can try to pick a fight later when you can, because otherwise then they just go on to
and there we go,
inhib.
30 goes with the flash, Cyrus there, but it only gets power right. And 30 gets gives, but he does get the ult out, but it's not the ult the Dank by Mom needs. And they are currently losing this 3 versus 5, and now Milk is short, and Purple is teleporting. And there is a great draw Wing going in. Oh my god, Dank by Mom are just melting. And that is going to be an ace. I hope you didn't play.
Yeah, and I mean,
Muffin had it made there. Yeah, this is exactly the kind of start they needed to a game like this, and they got it, and hopped on the back of Purple Pickle Pie and Camera and just rode this thing in all the way.
yeah, I mean, you gotta give credit where credit's due. Devout Milk's also been like absolutely on point this game as well.
Well, he solidified the early game.
Yeah, no.
He really solidified the early game to what to the lead that amounted. I mean,
Yeah.
Camera really took what he was given and ran with it, but have to give props to Devout Milk for making the early game as flawless
Yeah.
as it was.
Yeah.
Now,
Well,
Simply
see you
Zach.
later, Sack. Simply dead.
Simply dead.
Dank.
That was the dankest of memes. Nice one.
Look at Cameron with that one ward. He knows he can take this whole team on. And 30. What was that ignite?
Rage Ignite.
Oh.
And
That was-
Cameron's actually gonna die.
High feet.
But, this is looking like a good thing for DBM. As they go for the chase people Wang with the package to split up the carries of DBM. They're they're not taking away a cage, but actually just chasing forward. But
Oh,
now
he's contagious.
Wang just sat on top of the laser from Victor. Whoop. And see you later.
Man, you could have made it out of that, man. Why are you trying to help your teammate?
It's every man for himself at this point.
Dude, they got pretty close to killing Purple Pickle Pie, but it just didn't matter in the end.
There was probably a lot of gold available for Muffin Men there, so. Go
Yeah,
back.
also, I mean,
Go
it's
back
just people being hyphy because you're ahead. I have to say, I am surprised this game isn't over already. But,
I'm not that surprised because this isn't exactly a team known for its superstar shot calling. And they are currently doing very on top of a pink ward that no one even bothered to clear so currently with 3K. Not that it mattered.
no, but
I actually do think that when you're in like the 18 to 25 minute mark with a massive lead, that's actually one of the toughest places to close a game out. Because when the lead is so massive, the things that you're supposed to do with the lead that big are like go to Baron, but it's so early that it's really easy to screw that up. So I'm not surprised that this is a slow closeout, and it looks like we're going to see our last fight here under the Nexus, and these turrets are not going to last long. There we go, Jack going in, hoping to make something happen. Camera flashing back and just so much damage comes out of Muffin on the Kai Dagger. A double kill for Cameron, as now we see the re-engage coming. from M&M. And it's going to be a 1-3 so far. 1-4 so far. And there we go. The ace. Hammer at 15, 2-10. Purple Pickle Pie, 10th in it. Just. It was one-dimensional, but they played that game in one dimension.
I mean, you keep going on about how it's a one-dimensional comp, but being one-dimensional is not like it's not a bad thing. Like one of the biggest things in SBL that always works is like it's a Sivir comp that runs at you and has a bunch of AoE CC. That's really one-dimensional, but it really fucking works. And yeah, that Jesus.
My God, that damage chart! Holy crap!
Nice
That
doubles.
tells you the story of that game.
Hecarim doing less damage than pretty much everyone else in the game is not where you want to be.
Alright, guys, I want to actually take a moment real quick before we take our caster break. Guys, can we not show this on stream? I think we have a moral obligation to not arouse these high schoolers any further. So,
Yeah.
there you go, guys. We will be back in a few minutes here. There's not really much else to say. That was a heck of a game out of Muffin Men. We will be back in 3-ish minutes for Game 3. Alright, folks, welcome back here to our SBL semifinal between Muffin Men and Dank by Mom. My name is AJ0 and I'm incredibly confused because I just found a Team Swain business card on my nightstand. I don't know how it got there. I don't know who put it there. I didn't put it there. It was just there.
The more you know.
Stranger things, man.
Makes me wonder what else is on your nightstand.
Alright, so heading into game 3 here. Curious to see the are going to have the same teams for the third game in a row here with Muffin Men taking blue. And curious to see what Dinks by Mom do different with their draft here because they kind of went for the same plan in the first 2 games and it worked in game 1. And it got them rolled in game 2. So I do expect to see something different coming out of them now.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what they decide to do. Their bans each game have been, I don't even remember what one of them was, but the other 2 were Lucian Twitch. I wouldn't be surprised to actually see them just drop like 3 bans on them. Just see what happens.
It's Zillion, Lucian, Twitch. Those are the 3 bans they've had
Zillion.
in both games.
Yeah, I can see why they've been banning Zillion. I remember that now.
Like Sis was saying, it's a camera enabler, so I guess I'd just rather not deal with it.
Yeah, and I mean, for what it's worth, it's also a good pick with Purple and Milk, because they're both guys that like to play forward no matter what they're doing as well. So, it's really a pick to synergize with every one of his teammates.
Yeah, no, he's looked really solid on it as well. I mean...
But it's also probably the most logical ban to drop, so if we see a change in bans out of DBM, that would be what I would expect. But we'll see where they go here, because so far, different order, but same bans. Yeah, it looks like, oh, nope, it's going to be, the Lucian is now left open for Cammer, the Ezreal taken away, so it's just been one ban changing between each of these games.
I mean, Ezreal is considerably safer than Lucian. I mean, Ezreal is like one of the safest AD carries.
Ezreal is the safest AD carry. So we will see Cammer if he's going to go for that Lucian, because Ezreal might be safer, but Lucian can go off a lot quicker and a lot harder.
Yeah. Yeah, not surprised at all.
And yeah, I am super excited to see this pick in action. I love Lucian, man.
I imagine as long as they can get the blue side, they're going to first pick one of those 380 carries, whichever sneaks through.
Yeah, and I mean, that's a solid strategy. These are all picks, especially this Lucian and Ezreal that we've seen now. These put so much of the playmaking potential into Cammer's hands. He has the ability to just outplay his opposition with those champs. And when you're the best player on your team, being able to just outplay your opponent is a great plan. So first rotation of DBM here, going to be changing the AD carry direction a bit. We're going to have Ashe and Nautilus coming out. So that is going to be some insanely strong pick potential. And then an immediate lock-in out of Muffin Man is going to be the Braum and Lee Sin both picked again.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that pickup at all. Devout Milk looked really good on the Lee Sin, and the Braum just is a solid pick against what DBM tries to do as a team. However, it looks like DBM is mixing it up a little bit this game.
I will say, going back to this bot lane out of DBM, I really love these picks. We've seen that Muffin Men can be a little slow on their rotations sometimes, and the Ashe Nautilus ultimate chain, if anyone screws up, it's going to die so fast.
Yeah.
Because you suddenly, this has been, Muffin Man have had their track down. This has been all auto locks this entire time.
The
So,
Syndra pickup from my Wang. I think Syndra's a very, very strong right now. Evidenced by Worlds.
yeah, Syndra is very powerful, but this is my Wang we're watching, not the Ericsson.
That's
So
true.
we'll see how much of an impact that has on the lane.
Yeah, still a fairly difficult champion to play, but not nearly. One of the big reasons why she's so strong right now is with her little mini rework in the mid-year update. It removed a lot of the hardest parts of her kit, which were her timings. With her W completely resetting the ball time instead of just barely extending it, and also being able to grab multiple balls once it's at max rank. And also her spheres last 8 seconds at max rank for Q, so 9 onwards instead of 6. It just makes the timings on her ult a lot easier, and you can really get set up for these 7 or 8 balls, and just one-shot people with her ultimate.
Alright, so last pick coming in here, I'm going to be picking up this Poppy. And I actually want to talk about what DBM is doing all night with their third straight purple side game. Third straight last pick of the draft going on the wins. I have not been a fan of a lot of these picks that he's been using the last pick on. These haven't been the kind of picks that you absolutely have to be counter-picking to use effectively. And his team has had to kind of sell out their draft in some other places like AD carry or jungle this game or even mid lane, where I feel like they've been holding this last pick for on the wins just to make him comfortable instead of holding last pick to try to create an advantage.
Almost every single champion that he can pick, you can blind pick. You could first pick it. Like, he's playing a lot of really safe top lane champions. And honestly, there's not too many top lane champions like that you can't just blind pick, to be quite frank.
Yeah, and like I said, it's really rough when you use that last pick and you're only using it to make somebody comfortable, not to gain an advantage. Because that tells me it's just not something I like to see out of.
I did like it with the
like
Kennen.
Opulence.
I did like it with the Kennen game 1. I think that is fine because Kennen does drastically change a team comp, and then when their team didn't really have anything to build around to deal with Kennen besides Poppy ult knocking him out, it's really nice. But in a game like this, it's like, we're gonna pick Poppy. Okay.
Especially that they've done it 3 games in a row, and we've seen such boring last picks like Irelia and Poppy. Those aren't comp-defining picks. You know, he hasn't picked super dank lane counter picks that he's going to just stomp 1v1. But the last pick is such a valuable resource, and I feel like they haven't really used it for much. And when you're going to be purple team every single game, that's not ideal, in my opinion. But overall, no real complaints out of either of these comps. I think they both look fairly solid. And yeah, Salvo actually brings up an interesting point. Wang avoiding the Aurelian Soul. That is his most ranked played champ of Season 6 by a long shot, actually. He's got 128 games on Aurelian Soul. Next up is 63 on the Corki.
I will go back to why I said game 1. My mind is, I am boggled that Wang has not been picking Aurelion Sol. Like, Aurelion Sol, we've seen it. We saw Xiaohu and Uzi do the exact same thing at Worlds, where Aurelion Sol is one of the best zone control mages in the game. You put the, like, once you get your Rylai's and you have the if you get the Ice Belt one that shoots the ice shards, like, you have some insanely good zone control with that, where no one can kind of enter into your zone without CC. And if you pair yourself close enough to the AD carry, that's totally fine, especially when you don't have anything that's, you don't have any giant AoE CCs besides like Poppy ult, which is, if she's getting the short knock-up one, you're already out of position on them anyways. Like, she shouldn't be able to get it both onto you. And then on top of that, he's got that huge knockback for PLing. And it's, my rank's like one of his best champs. Like, I am just blown away that he has not been picking it.
But here we are.
Well, let's see if Devout Milk can have a strong impact in the early game again.
Yeah, I think that's something to actually really keep an eye on.
The solo kill on Zach really got him rolling. So, providing that doesn't happen again, maybe we could probably see a little bit of a more mellowed out early game, and then maybe we'll see, if the team fighting skirmishing closer to 7-8 minutes, propels one or the other team forward a little bit more.
The
Jeez, the
fuck?
Poppy skin is hella loud. What the fuck?
There we go.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
There we go.
Both
looks
teams
like we
want to
got-
do something cheesy.
Much cheese. Nothing's gonna happen though. It's the SBL.
Such wow.
Both teams gonna drop the exact same wards, it's looking like,
Yep.
and then leave.
That was pretty dank.
Minions have spawned.
Is anything really gained? Like, that doesn't even, like, really gain him anything. They both are starting where each side expected them to start.
I mean, I guess Muffin Men are gonna know where DBM are.
Muffin Men know for sure where DBM are. Like, so Muffin Men actually does, like, somewhat net gain something on this site. They guarantee something. They guarantee information. And this lets DBM know that Muffin Men are starting on the bottom half of the map. But it's not really, like, a big surprise.
Yeah, when 30's missing a fourth of his health, it's not going to be all that hard to figure out regardless of whether or not you have a ward or not.
Alright, so here we are. The Camera Lucian in action.
Yeah, last time we
Hammer.
saw it, it went really well for him.
Camera playing for a lot. 20. If he breaks 20 kills this game, the Dig Squad is going to buy him Overwatch because he is a broke something and does not own the game. We see Purple Pickle Pie winning the early trades in top lane for the.
It actually is
That's
pretty.
pretty right.
He didn't win that trade.
No, he took a lot of creep damage on the tail end of
Yeah.
that, so I stand corrected. And that's actually a big win for him because he's got the recharging and corrupting potions to work through the just solo health potions out of Purple Pickle Pie. And a big trade going on to his head. He gets stunned, and he's going to be very patient, not blowing any of his summoners. Now, Cameron actually takes a good amount of creep damage on the tail end of that. Ends up being not as one-sided of a trade as it could have been, but Cameron, Bill Cosby, and back in there. Now, 30's got to pop one of his potions.
Once again, oddly enough, it looks like Poppy's going to take a CS side here. I wonder if it's just people don't know how to punish the early game Poppy.
Ooh, there's a nice hook on the camera, though. But not getting onto too much damage. And now Simply Zach charges over the wall. He's going to miss one of the bounces on the Wang, but Wang still takes a lot of damage. He has to pop his Ghost to get out of that one safely.
Yeah.
And going on to that top lane, it looked like Purple Picklefly was just missing a lot of CS while he was harassing the win. So he's playing that lane a little too aggressively early on.
Yeah.
But he has kind of built himself up a bit of a wave read if he wants to play that out. So he could turn this into something more substantial.
That is a very big lane where you can play out of wave freeze. Oh, the gank.
And just watching the way Velco like lose the trade and then jump back in, it's something to watch. That's for sure.
He's a man with very little fears. Or he's just blind.
Well,
They
that
never
too.
know.
Alright.
So, yeah, pretty boring early game so far. There's been some trading, but this is every time I think that we're gonna see like a hardcore commitment, it doesn't happen.
Nah.
And maybe this is the one. I'm gonna lose the steadfast.
Oh, that flash!
By charging forward and a flash out of on the wind, and an auto. I think that might have been an auto canceled by Purple there.
No, I just don't think he was in range.
Yeah. No.
Flash
Really
is
awkward
traded by the
interaction.
top laners then.
Yeah, no. What you saw was the transform. He tried to transform to get into the ranged auto, and then he was out of range by the time the transform was done.
And there's a hook on the camera, who is starting to be at a pretty big health disadvantage here. And Simply Zach is also in the neighborhood. I think Camera's gonna count his blessings and just recall here.
Yeah. I don't really know what the heck that has all been in the top lane though. It's been kind of funky. I really hope we don't see Purple rush a freaking Black Cleaver again.
Hey, it worked in the last game. Why wouldn't
It
work
worked in
this
the
game?
last games. You got 2 kills ahead. Like really early on. I like this early drag coming out here though. 30's tanking it. They use their back timings well.
Yeah, it's a nice free Earth Dragon, so not going to amount to anything right now, but something that as this game goes on. Oh, could be in a bad spot here though, because Wang has roamed down the river, and he forces the flash out of 30. That Nautilus is just so goddamn tanky. Now Wang flashes the wall, looking to kill it. He's gonna get the first one.
It's an odd usage of the summoner order there from Wang, but I think he was pretty much just expecting to get the kill off the ult. Not I can blame him too much for that one, but nice first blood pickup. He went hard for it, and it worked out.
It was a little bit greedy just throwing the ult and expecting it to die. Like you can go for the safe Q, your Q stun W, then into ult, or even summon another orb and just kill him right away, and then not having to burn both of your summoners, because now you're pretty susceptible to a gank in the mid lane.
Yeah, no, he really only did need to use like one. He did because he started off with QE, like to stun him, so he didn't have all the options in the world. But he could have just used Ghost to keep on pace, or just flashed and got the kill right away.
Yeah, I think this just kind of shows Wang's not a bot laner, and I don't think people realize just how bullshit tanky support Nautilus is. Wang walks up, sees 30% health support, and he's like, alright, cool, I'm gonna pop my ult and get this kill.
Right, that's just Nautilus in general. That dude's a fucking goddamn
tank.
But you're not used to seeing a tank, like even a tank support, be as tanky as Nautilus gets for free. It's infuriating to play against. And Trading getting really dicey. Oh, Purple Pickle Pie has just been missing those shot blasts left and right.
Yeah.
Actually, he saved himself there. On the Wind was going for the wall bang, the wall stun, and he knocked him away right before he could do that. So he was actually about to die there.
Yeah.
Because On the Wind would have just chained his ult into the after the stun and the Q, and he'd have instantly died.
Overall, by far the least action-packed game. First 10 minutes that we've seen.
Yeah, I mean,
Feels like
nice
we've seen
steal
settle
from
bits.
Dank by Mom. Picking up that blue buff, that really does hurt Syndra's power spike. Syndra at 9 with blue buff is just ridiculous. Oh, what the hell?
But, no, he's going for it, and that's a flash in on this Simply Zach, and now Wang's going to get a kill. Does not need to use the ult because he's going to have it available for Contagio, but not going to secure the kill onto him. Milk and Contagio both very low there, but now Wang's going to get 2-0. And for the first time this series, Wang is in a position to take over for his team a bit.
Oh yeah, Wang is looking really, really sharp here.
And now Wang with a nice roam onto this top lane. Triple Pickle Pie took a lot of damage baiting this one out. And On the Wind has to flash eventually, but Wang with a ghost to follow. He has one auto attack away, and there it is. Wang 3-0-0.
I think that that might have been a tilt ping coming out there on that ward in the top river brush, like saying, "Hey, I did have a ward, but it didn't matter."
Life gives you
Alright, so getting bigger picture again here, about a 1,500 gold lead currently, 1,000 of that currently on my Wang. And, maybe I was wrong. I said we're not going to see any Bjergs in this game, but Wang is definitely in a position to start having that kind of impact.
Yeah, some nice roams and just like good positioning overall. He's making these stunts happen. He's definitely in a position to make some.
Yeah, and it looks like Dink My Mom know that because they are positioning really aggressively for a dive on the Wang there, but Wang is going to kind of feel that one out and not get dove.
Yeah, we have a lot of people starting to position around this mid lane. Troutmilk's going to run into Simply Zach though.
You know what they say, the point blank skill shot is the difficultest.
Difficultest. Same.
Nice English.
English.
Yeah, what we were saying earlier also, I want to point out, is that there's a really big lead in the top lane. Purple Pickle Pie is really just punishing On the Wind now.
But Wang coming in here and flash out. Wang is trying to cut this one out, but a lot of damage coming out of Dink by Mom here, and they're going to pick up Wang, and Milk is also not long for this world. Kills onto the 280 carries for DBM.
That hook was like just the tip too. Oh my god. I don't think another millimeter and it would have been.
And now it looks like we're going to see some aggressive tower trading, but this should be first going over to DBM here in the... No,
Nope.
actually going to be in the bot lane to Cammer and Howrick.
Yep. That's really big.
Will be answered within the turn there.
That's nice. That keeps them in the gold lead off of that trade.
Yeah, it keeps them in the gold lead, but it really changes the way that Muffin Men are going to have to play around this, because Wang, with those three kills, he's going to want to be playing pretty aggressively, and now he's not going to have a turret in the lane. He's going to have to be a lot more creative with how he presses his advantage.
Yeah. The thing is that you can, if you set up good vision with that, you can just try to use it to put more pressure on the side lanes of the map, because Victor has more distance to shove in to get to that tower. And it looks like we're going to see Rift Herald picked up here.
Ooh, that took a while to take. Jeez.
Yeah. We'll see it go into On the Win, though. Hopefully that can help him salvage a bit of the pain he's taking in the top lane.
Yeah, he's going to need that because, you know, going back to that point we were making earlier about On the Wind using the last pick on the Poppy, it's rough to use the last pick of the draft on something and then struggle as much in laning phase as he has.
Oh!
Oh my goodness.
That is one of the most awkward pauses I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I especially love that we get to hear this wonderful Lucian all things
What a
sound this whole
what
time.
a horrible sound to stop on.
I know.
Oh god. It's like
We're
nails on a
gonna kill the
chalkboard.
in-game sound for that until the pause is done. This way,
Alright. Oh, looks like it's not going to be long at least, so here we go.
Yay, Victor Laser, let's go. I thought I was DDoSed. Seriously?
And poor Contagion,
Yeah.
gonna die, but at least only going over to the Braum there. But Odwin has followed this with a teleport, and now Development is kind of in a bad place. He's gonna flash out, he's gonna actually lead his way on. Now he goes back and he's gonna kill his fast. But he's gonna die for it. This one does not look gone. Purple chasing 30 on one end of this fight. With the Enchanted Crystal Arrow coming off, and that's going to hit Purple, but not going to be able to do anything with it. As Cameron's just casually pushing onto this mid lane turret. I don't think that Muffin Men are going to be able to get this turret, and actually, I am wrong, because down goes the mid turrets.
This is why you're retired. But now, yeah, looking sharp. I like the aggressive. I like the choice to just go ahead and take that and then move to Dragon here. They have a really fed Syndra right now. She's in one of her prime points of the game. Take advantage of it.
Yeah, that's going to be a nice Ocean Drink going over to Muffin Men, which will, you know, it's a pretty good point in the game for the Ocean Drink.
Yeah, Ocean Drake is probably the best early game Drake. Honestly, it's just the regeneration matters the most. Then it can still be good in siege situations, especially if you get multiple. But
the later the game goes, and the more you accumulate over that time, the greater the value is. It's not as impactful in the early game, but it can definitely be the difference between life and death sometimes.
I don't know, Ocean in the early game, like if you can get Ocean first Drake while you're still in the laning phase, it's by far the most effective one. Like Inferno only multiplies like stats that you have built, so people don't have a lot of items. Mountain's only for taking objectives, so it can transition to the first tower, but that only matters then. And then Cloud's for rotations,
Wait.
so Cloud can help with
That was the milkiest of a milk play.
yeah.
Alright, so looking towards this mid lane, Contagio, nope, they didn't want to push that turret. But, Cameron Helrick might be a little deep in the no man's land here, and Helrick is supposed to be all Wang is supposed to be fight, but I realize that Cameron gets blown up really fast to start this fight. But all 5 members are here, and then the 4th kill for Wang, and the 5th is continuing. A double kill for the Wang, and you know damn well Devoutwell is not going to stop on this chase. Fred kicked him the wrong way. That's good, and that's it. Blue on the top lane, and on the wing pushes down that turret. And Purple is chasing onto this one. He flashes forward. He's going for the tower dive, going to get it, his first kill of the match. And this is starting to blow things open for the Purple Pickle Squad. Muffin Men. I almost just called them the Purple Pickle Squad.
The Purple Pickle Squad.
Which, that would be a pretty good team name, actually.
Yeah.
I hope Purple uses that next season. And now Zach going a little too deep to check into his own jungle there, but it looks like he's going to be able to walk out of that. Actually, how they took a ton of damage. Camera going forward, he is very...
Oh!
He gets hooked on, goes down to 30, who is not fucking around, blows the exhaust there. And the chase continuing here. Oh, a flash out of Zach immediately. That was a Wang stun, and he's going to die for it. 6-1-0, my Wang.
Nice stun. Good follow-up.
Makes me wonder why they went with the Graves instead of just going on the Hecarim again. That's been working pretty decently for them.
I mean, Simply Zach has been the weak link of this team, from what I've seen. Like, since they started bringing him in, their bot lane has been starting to perform a lot better with having 30 on support, and their team kind of looked more fluid, but their jungle has continually just been very, very hit or miss, normally leaning towards the miss side.
Yeah, I think they thought that just see if they switch something up and it goes better. And they probably didn't think it could go much worse, but it's been pretty non-existent, this Graves, this game.
Yeah.
By the way, Purple Pickle updates. Not a Black Cleaver. Currently has Yomu's.
God bless. He's learned. He was listening to the cast last time. He did it for me. But yeah. No, that's good. Looks like he's going for Cleaver second item. But that's not a bad pickup with how Poppy is going into double armor straight away.
Yeah, that's going to create a ton of armor shut on these sieges for Hammer and Purple to play off each other. And, they're not going to connect on that hook.
No, but he's going to opt to fight wrong.
Now, Aquaman is actually pretty deep here. He has to ult defensively, and it's not going to do much. Now, Camera is showed up. He puts down a big falling from the flank, and this is turning into a huge collapse for the Purple Pickle Squad. They've already picked up 3. 2 kills on the squad master himself, and now Wang is flashed forward. He is looking for more. And, oh my god, Purple Pickle Squad is now in the J zone. His 3rd kill of the fight. Only Contagio remaining.
Purple Pickle Pie is showing up this series. Holy cow.
He looked really...
I
mean, he's looked really good on Jace. He was not looking good that first game, but he's looking solid now. Actually, no, he was looking fine that first game. I take that back.
Contagio looking for a play in the despairing pits. But nope, not gonna find it. A smite secure out of the devout one. And a 22-minute Baron for the Purple Pickle Squad.
Muffin Men looking to have another very dominant game here.
And this is different than that last game, because they didn't get Baron until very late in that last game. But 22 minutes in, against a Syndra and a Jace that are both, they're combined 10-1. That is going to be a deadly siege.
Yeah. No,
And just for fun, they're going to go pick up this Earth Dragon to help them on the upcoming siege.
You go that, you match with the bot lane wave that's pushed in right now, you pick up another outer turret. You catch this Graves out? No.
I mean, it has to
Oh, wait, never mind.
You catch it. Auto rampage.
Jeez.
Oh,
But it has to
my.
be said though, when you give Muffin Men a little bit, they take a lot. You know, and that's like something I've been over these last two games.
Bill, maybe takes a little too much. Now Cameron gets hit with the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Rob is taken out of this fight, and Muffin Men are on a hard retreat right now.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
But meanwhile, in the mid lane, Triple Pie just casually taking an inhibitor turret on his own.
Yeah.
And this inhibitor is probably not long for this world either. While it's only Poppy that went back. Who takes it out of the way to stop Purple Pickle Pie? This is his squad, man. You can't just like use your tiny little Poppy to take him on.
Yeah, this Baron is, it's done its job. They've cracked the base, and they still have some time to go, too.
Yeah, they still have 2 minutes on this Baron. They can easily set up at either of these side lanes. You know, go for a maybe 2-wave push with the remainder of the Baron.
Yeah.
I mean, heck, they don't even have the base if they don't want to. No one's really sitting on too much gold. Purple's the only one with over 1,000.
Yeah, I think it's more for them to heal up, but then also just get all on the same page. Sometimes it's easier for that, like if you're just to get everyone on the same page, like everyone back. That way, everyone's together right away. You don't have to worry about someone getting distracted by like shiny things in the jungle or creeps in lane.
So here comes the siege. Purple Pickle Pie looking like they're going to set up a 4-0-1 here. Both top laners do have the teleports available, and on the wind coming for a big teleport. And once again, the Enchanted Crystal Arrow hits on the camera. While already engaged, coming out of gank by Mob, and they are going to take out Camera. It doesn't look like Howard is going to survive this either. But what will be the cost?
Team's turret has been destroyed.
That's a
Already
turret.
taking 1 towers, and now Wang and Milk look like they want to interrupt back. There's only one recall that's going to have gotten off so far. Just now, and Purple puts down some decent damage on that bot lane turret. He should be able to take out Contagio just got into base. Now there's a third in base for DBM. And now Wang and Milk can fight this in the top lane. They put down huge damage on the way. He's going to have to flash out. And Wang is not done here.
Really?
And Wang is playing this really greedy. Oh, that kick is barely going to miss.
Really nice play out of the rest of the Muffin Men here to just still take advantage of that. They knew that Purple was pushing fast, and they know he does a disgusting amount of damage to towers. And they stopped the backs. And they
That
got...
was an awesome series of events for the Muppet Men to understand their advantage the way they did, that they could still pressure like that in a 4v5. They reacted and played that out super well.
And I mean, Muffin Men can totally afford to give up 2 kills for 2 towers. I mean, that's totally...
Especially if it's an
100%.
Oh yeah, especially an inhibitor tower. I mean, if I'd trade 2 for none to get an inhibitor tower if they get nothing else for it, any day.
Alright, so overall, a heck of a Baron power play out of the Purple Pickle squad.
I don't think you could have written up
Okay.
any better than that.
I mean, you could have won.
Yeah, I mean, without winning, I think they did pretty good job.
They did. They got an inhibitor, they got a second inhibitor tower. They are in full control of this game. Wang and Purple Pickle Pie sitting at a combined 11-1 right now. And we're still only 27 minutes into this game. It's I mean, the best thing about this game, if you're the Muffin Men, is that you've seen you can win a game without Hammer going off.
Yeah, no. This... Oh. Like... This is even better than what like people are advising. Like to think like what the best case scenario is. It's like okay, you have a top lane carry and you have an AD carry, and you just wangs past bull in the mid lane. You hopefully have a solid support.
Here comes the fight on the win, looking like he wants to split this team up, but he's only going to knock out the Braum. Purple picks up high, he's taking a lot of damage, but he puts down some decent damage before going down. And Muffin Men looks like they still want to play this lane forward. They have to watch out. There's still an Enchanted Crystal Arrow available, along with a lot of damage from Cathasia. And Poppy being engaged on him, he gets kicked out defensively. Braum ultimate not going to slow down much. Cathasia still has an ult available, as Muffin Men are kiting this one outwards, but Hammer is playing this very aggressively. He puts down a lot of damage, and now everyone is collapsing on the win, but this could be a good fight for DBM. They get Wang, and they are not done yet. They're flashing forward. Cathasia gets to throw out a double kill for Simply Zach, and the base has been defended.
That was some questionable positioning there from the carries. I mean, this is good for 9-5 Mom, though. Like, they're pretty happy over there. Their inhibitor's back up. They just fended off a fight. They get a dragon as well. So, like, they fended off their base, let it repair, and still get another neutral.
Yeah, and that's... Oh, this isn't done yet, because Milk is going to go for a steal here.
That's risky. You just give up a steal, but, like, you don't try and steal it at this point.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
But got that purple damage still. But
yeah.
Go back a step here. That's such a big defensive base for DBM because, you know, looking at how that situation started, you assume the Muffin Men are going to win a fight and take 2 inhibitors, and then they'll do that right as Baron had respawned, set up for an easy Baron dance, get Baron, close out the game.
Yeah.
DBM, by defending their base, prevent any of that from happening. Where now their inhibitor is respawned, they're on, you know, behind, but less behind than they should have been. Here we go. The Baron fight is starting with Baron being taken out very fast. Wind is going to whiff the ult, and Baron is not going to be reset. Simply Zach has just arrived, and he's going to look for a steal, but it's not going to get it. On the Wind dies in the Baron pick, and 30 cannot quite chase this one out. And that ended up just being a little too slow for Muffin, or for Take My Mom. They should have been able to get to that Baron in time. I mean, everyone in the world knew what was about to happen there. At least that's what I like to think.
Yeah.
And they just don't get Simply Zach to Baron early enough to, you know, attempt a 50-50. Or to attempt a Baron pit fight.
Yeah, and they were I mean, like, they were not too far behind. I mean, before the Baron fight, they were down like 5k. Which is a good chunk of change, but it's not unsurmountable.
What I really would have liked Wind to do there is instead of using his ult and whiffing it, just say, hang on to your ult. When you flash into the team like that and you pin Cameron against the wall, just combo that with your ult. That buys a little bit more time for your team to get there, and maybe that turns into a fight that you can actually win. But instead, it just gets first sit down and dies.
Yeah. We're going to see Purple bringing up the wave in the bot. I don't know if I agree with this totally, just because there's not like towers for him to siege or
And
anything.
here comes Wind, who also doesn't seem to agree with this because he's teleporting onto the flank. He's going to have free access to this back line. And man, I hope Cameron has one of those race traps that he's about to be. And Cameron barely fights out of this one. And now Twitter is being pulled up. But my lane goes down. He does not get much damage out of any fight. And Wind is still chasing forward onto this one. He might have run a little too deep. A 1-for-1 so far. And flashing Hellfires from Take My Mom. It looks like the Purple Purple Squad are going to push forward here. And oh, Purple with just one shock blast should secure inhibitors for his team. They're going to take at least one, and their Baron creeps have just shown up. They're now going to rotate towards the seconds. And Contagio trying to look for a hero play here. 30 goes forward onto Milk, but that's going to free up both of the AD carries to hit this inhibitor and retreats.
Yeah, that was really nice. Helric had a really good block there and soaked a ton of damage, being able to keep Camera alive after what looked really bad because his dash got blocked from the Poppy Air zone control. I was like, he hasn't been. Not a lot of people have been pointing him out this game. I mean, myself included, but that play right there in particular, really, really clean from Helric.
Yeah, he's kind of been the unsung guy so far this year for this team, but game 2 and 3 in particular, I think he's looked outstanding. He's, it's hard to be flashy on Braum, but a lot of these fights I've noticed him doing his job properly.
Yes. Oh.
And now on the win, maybe being caught up. He's going to knock Camera away from this one, but that still leaves... Oh, sorry, yeah. But that's still going to leave Purple Pickle Pie in his face, who tries to set up the shot blast, but I think it was on cooldown.
Cameras everywhere in top lane and middle lane. Ah!
Everyone's camera now.
Everyone's camera.
We're all camera now.
It's all camera now. Feels camera, man.
Yeah. So, a couple minutes later, but we now see your dream Baron push happening. So,
The one where they win?
yeah. Well, the top lane one where they have the supers coming in the
One
side
where they
lanes,
win.
and they probably win. Yeah, as you see the last inhibitor tower going down.
And Camera is playing hard. He's like, oh my god, I'm the one just gambling that fight. Third guys do something from the flank, but he is not going to fight. It's a double kill for Purple Pickle Pie. And Muffin Men are pushing forward here. Hibbs has to flash the Bravo and win! That is A for effort. But this is going to be a closeout. PvE mode turned on, and the Purple Pickle Squad are going to take their second win of the series.
Laser. GG Laser.
Get fucked.
Laser taking down both Camera and Purple there.
And this is now starting to look like the team we thought Muffin Men could be after the draft. I mean, these guys were one of the preseason favorites if we, go way back. And the regular season, they kind of flew under the radar because they had to play so many games with their subs, and they did not look good in those games. But these last 2 games, they have just been rolling through the early game.
Yeah.
And now they're up 2-1. So we are going to call our quick caster break, guys. We will be right back to bring you into the potential match point for the Muffin Men. So stay tuned. All right, folks, we are back with Game 4 coming up here, and for the first time all night, a change of sides. So DBM moving over to the blue side to maybe do a little more to challenge some of the champion pools on Muffin Men.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where they take this from. I imagine that it'll have something to do with trying to limit a few people, mainly camera on it. Something definitely, regardless of that, something needs to change on their draft strategy.
Yeah, we've seen just when Muffin Men goes with this hardcore early game, they're able to execute it really well.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that this part of the thing is this DBM team just doesn't play the best from behind overall. Like, that's a big problem for them.
And we saw that being the difference from game 1 to game 2 to game 3. Because game 1 they were really far ahead and they were just crushing it, and then game 2 they weren't ahead, and then we saw them struggle, and then it was the same story game 3.
Yeah. That, and I think, like, I mean, their big thing is that they just like to pile 5 people on the enemy team, and they just haven't had a good situation to set that up.
And honestly, like, I love On the Win, but he's been outclassed in the top lane these last 2 games, which has been a big part of why they've been losing these games as hard as they have been.
And he's not playing like something like Kennen, which still brings a lot of utility to a fight, even if you're behind.
Yeah, I'd love to see him be on something team fighty, but he doesn't really play all that much that team fights. You know, it's what he plays these champions that are supposed to win the top lane, or he plays something that's supposed to be like uber safe, and he's still dying on these champions 1v1 against purple every game. It's just like when are we going to see Wind go off and start carrying from the top lane? You know?
Yeah, I mean, especially like in the Jays Poppy matchup, we saw how it went in Worlds a whole bunch. But the thing is, like, the important thing is that you don't die. Like, if you notice that all the games where the Poppy didn't die, even if they were down 20 to 50 CS, they stayed equal on XP, and then eventually they just overtook the Jace in the 1-on-1 scenario. But if the Poppy dies, the Jace just starts getting the XP advantage. He builds the armor pen, he gets ahead, and it just goes through. And I mean, we've seen some teams, like we saw Odo Omne do that in group stage, and we saw a couple other players do it, and it just gets absolutely brutal.
Alright, so looks like we got both teams ready to go here as soon as third hits the button. There we go. Alright.
Button pressed.
Game 3. Let's see what happens. Friends. So far, nothing.
Nothing is different. They were banning the Twitch before the Zillion, I think. Before.
No, it was always the Zillion. Always the Zillion first ban.
I like that. Ban the Jace, and
Jace,
they're gonna ban the Jace, and they're gonna first pick the Ezreal.
Yep, so they're gonna take their odds with the Lucian again. That's a good adaptation out of Tank Battle because the Lucian, I mean, at least didn't go off last game, but you know that you've lost to the Ezreal and the Jace already tonight.
You know what I'd love to see them do? I would love to see Cameron and Hellrick pick the Lucian Braum bot lane now. I think Hellrick had a really good game on it last game. I think Cameron had a really good game on Lucian last game. I think you'd be confident to lock that in if they pick the Ezreal here. Unless they want to prioritize something like the Syndra, taking that or giving that back to my Wang again this game, since he had such a killer performance on it.
Yeah, and his Lucian stats are pretty good too. I mean, this is something he's got. It's the second most played champion ranked. 75 games played, 55% win rates. That's the kind of pick that even if it didn't go great last game, it's not like there was anything wrong with it. If you're Diamond 3 and you're consistently playing and winning on this champion, you need to have the trust that you can just pick it and win with it.
All right. There's a story behind this Urgot pick. I messaged Cameron and said that there'd be a little bit of a reward in it for him if he picks this Urgot and plays the Urgot. So I appreciate that hover, even if he doesn't take it.
Also messaged Cammer. I told him to please not pick the Urgot because it's literally my trigger and I have PTSD. So I don't think we're going to see the Urgot.
Which means you should totally do it because we all want to see Swift trigger off the face of the earth.
We'll be going to a dual cast in 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1.
Gonna be.
I can respect a 30-second hover at least. I'll take it.
So that is something very different than what we're used to seeing on camera. Going with the Sivir. And it looks like he's going to just be the facilitator for his team this game.
I really do like this Sivir pick. It's going to be interesting. And, like, assuming you fill this out with other good champions that works well with, I'm very happy to see that. Oh, we're going to see the Lee Sin taken away from Devout Milk.
I am not going to lie. Seeing that pick on Simply Zach scares me with the way he's been playing.
Yeah. No, I mean, that sums up my thoughts exactly.
Oh God, not like this. Please,
just as a
mercy.
quick update, that is Simply Zach's 12th most played champion this season in ranked. He's got 12 games on the Lee Sin and 25% win rate.
And I've probably been in all those games, which is the unfortunate part.
So 3-9 on Lee Sin. Yeah, that's getting to the point where, I mean, when you get small sample sizes, it's not too unusual to see something that's like, oh, if it's like just below 50% at, they're 4-6 or something, you have a 40% win rate in 10 games, it's like, that's not that big of a deal. And that doesn't really mean that much, because literally if they had one game go better, or, who knows what happened, it could be 5-5. But when you start getting to 3-9, and they don't have the best stats in those games.
Yeah, and this is also another thing I don't like just in general in the SBL. Don't ask the weakest player on your team to play their 12th most played champion in ranks. Like, you need to keep them to their top 2, top 3 champs as often as you possibly can.
Especially when it's a champ that's is a mechanically demanding champ.
The only reason they picked this is that they don't want Devout Milk to play it. That is the sole reason that this was picked. It's probably just going to be like a full tank Lee Sin, but the only reason it's on that team is that way it's not on the other team. Like, that's the only reason I can see them picking this. Because Hecarim was open. They could pick so many more things. It's not.
I would really like the Vlad pick up here, actually. Vlad's just a solid pick around, and he's really good against Syndra. He's one of the few people who can match Syndra in the laning phase, just because he's so safe, and then he just scales so hard into the late game.
Alright, so we're going to meet the Vlad Kennen, so we're going to see some pretty hardcore AoE coming out of DBM here.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a top lane counter pick coming out for Purple Pickle Pie for the first time all series. And Kennen...
I saw the Mr. Coffee tribute hover there.
Kennen, the thing is, like, Kennen, this is like a time where, yeah, you don't need the last pick. Kennen's a super safe champ. And like, he has a few bad matchups, but pretty much everything you can just play out. Like, you can play to farm out and have your jungler come and turn the tide because of just CC that you provide. It's like a Lissandra or a couple other ones.
Honestly, I think Dink by Mom got outdrafted here. I think Muffin Men had a way better draft. I think they got everything they wanted, short of getting the Lucian pick, which, I mean, they had the option of taking, but they opted into the Sivir instead with the Olaf, which I don't mind at all.
We'll see how purple Swain is. Swain is pretty solid.
Jeez, old man, we're 4 games into a best of 5 and you start yawning. What
yeah,
is this?
dude. grad school does things to a man.
Yeah, I believe it. You've seen some shit.
I mean, we've all seen some shit. No one should have to have watched 8 seasons of the Baddie League, but here Tim and I are. I've seen bad League of Legends in every form it could possibly take by now.
I thought you were about to like hella roast somebody from like last game, and I was like so ready for it, and then you made it a really broad statement, which is disappointing. I thought you were about to like fucking tear into somebody. Like I've seen some shit last game, and then it's not. So matchup to watch this game. Both of you, give me an answer. What's your matchup to watch this game with?
Top lane.
Top lane, 100%.
Purple gets a camp that he can just body laning phase on with the Swain. Transition super hard. I feel like there's a lot on purple in this game. I mean, in general, when you take the last pick of the draft, you need to, make a pick that you have the ability to go off with. Swain is that kind of pick, and it's something I can see on the win struggling with, the way he's been playing laning phase so far.
The Gypsy, you said you echo that? Like, you're also on board with the
I think that this is 100% the matchup to watch. We've seen really solid play from Purple all series. In these last 2 games, he's just gone off. Yeah, I'm very curious to see how that's going to go. I'm also very curious to watch the mid lane. It is... Vlad is someone who does even against Syndra in lane, but you still have to be careful. Syndra is one of those champions that's just really good at burst no matter what. Until Vlad gets a few items in, he's not totally safe. So I'm really curious to see how that goes, especially we're finally seeing Contagio off one of his Comfort 3.
Yeah, this is kind of the thing we were talking about all series. We said we were wondering when we're going to be introducing that 4th pick, whatever that was, and I guess the Vlad is what it turned out to be.
Well, the thing is to point out he had the choice of Victor here. I don't think Victor would be a very good choice against this team, especially though. Sivir, Olaf, Syndra, not exactly where you want to be with the Victor. So I like the fact that they didn't pick Victor. I'm just curious to see how he's going to perform on something else. I mean, he has performed on the 3 champions we've seen on him, but
he has. But Vlad is going to really change up what he can do. This is the first time he's not going to be playing a champion with really high wave clear, and that's a very big difference in play style.
Vi does have very high wave clear. It's just not. You have to get up into it. Like his.
It's not safe wave clear.
Yeah. You open yourself up to trading when you use his wave clear.
I would say that qualifies as a major difference in play style, so I'm curious to see how he does it. But this is Contagio's chance, because I mean he's really proven so far in these playoffs that he's a much better player than he's kind of been given credit for. And to take that next step, he needs to show that he can play another play style. And here with his team, with backs against the wall, this is the time to make people remember it.
Yeah.
When you were down 1-2 and you needed to play something completely different than you'd showed all season. You have success here, and you gotta take that next step.
Yeah. Something to point out is Vladimir actually has technically been nerfed since the patch most recent. However, it's primarily a nerf to pro play and nerfed the straight tank Vladimir build. It did not nerf the AP Vladimir. It was actually a buff to that, which is something you kind of see more at these lower level plays where safety is not of the utmost concern, and you don't have some of these team fights that are so well orchestrated.
Alright, so we see level 1 coming out here, and 30 not going to keep going forward there. I'll just drop the intelligent ward. It's none of the ranged players besides Wang are going to auto attack. And Zach? That might be one of the most confusing Lee Sin kicks I've ever seen.
How is he the only one to not take damage there? That's what I want to know. He was the one who went in.
Kings has fallen.
Welcome to the SBL. Alright, so despite all that, nothing gonna happen here. Break down into our good old standard lanes. Both bot lanes leashing for the jungler. And the game begins. So, in this mid lane, is there gonna be much of a kill crush early, or is this gonna be pretty jungle dependent until we see maybe ults come into play?
There is some kill pressure. It mostly depends on how the Vlad's playing the lane, but realistically, it's mostly just when the junglers decide to make things happen. Vlad, well, he does use his E a lot to generate, like, it burns through his health, and if he does mistime it, it does give Syndra some opportunities. Syndra's just more vulnerable to jungle ganks than Vlad is.
Yeah, this is a good first two levels coming out of 15 and 30 here. They've kind of outtraded Camera thus far.
Yeah, that's what you expect, though, like, when you have a Nami versus a Braum pick. Supports really dictate the pace of the laning phase on the first few levels, and I mean, we've seen not like how that's gone a lot if you've been watching Worlds at all. But they're just gonna get some nice aggression there.
Here comes Zac into this mid lane, going on the wing, a very good flash on the wing, immediately does not fuck around. And Zac, this, I'm gonna make a bold statement off of these two kicks. Zac is that insane.
I will agree with that. That actually ended up working alright for him because he got a little bit more damage on line, but not worth overall. He's lost his blue buff. Milk's currently just ravaging his jungle.
Yeah, good, smart plays out of Milk there. Not something I'm used to saying. Especially after game one, where when Milk did play Olaf, it was not pretty.
No.
Meanwhile, in this top lane, Purple Pickle Pie a little deep, and now Wind and Purple both flashing out. Milk coming in for the counter gank and slams down the axe. A first blood, and Milk and Purple are not on. They force the flash on the Tech, who jumps into his grip, and the axe sniper double kill for Devout Milk, and Contagio is too late to affect this play.
That was all on the back of Zac missing his Q.
Yeah, if Zac would have
too close to Swain and completely whiffed the Q to not get the kill.
If he would have landed that kill, it would have been first blood onto Swain, so there'd be less damage coming out, and then Wind would have gained HP off of the passive,
Level up.
the Dangerous Game,
Yeah,
and then maybe level up as well, probably just that much experience at a lower level.
for first blood. Yeah.
Yeah.
What a important skill shot to miss right there.
I mean, this goes back to what Switch was saying, though, about how you don't want to put your weakest player that deep on their champion pool.
Well, you know what to say, you can't hit skill shots without skill, right?
Yeah.
Feels cocky.
Oh my god.
Oh, and Wind gets hit with the long range stand. He loses a big trade in this top lane.
Purple is just looking solid now.
So, one storyline we haven't touched on, so we don't have time because the belt up showed up into the top lane. There's an exhaust on the hit. 30 hits are both very low here. And they just need one more hit. They're not going to get it on the hit. There comes the heal, but it is not enough. 30 with the super late exhaust. Although...
30 missed the bubble there. The bubble would have saved his life, and he missed that as well. These crucial skill shots that they're missing that could make or break some of these... I mean, not make the fight, because they're not going to return the kill, but, you know, 30 doesn't have to go down right there if he hits that bubble.
And I want to bring things back into Purple real quick, because Twitch chat just reminded me of a great storyline for this season that has come to fruition here. So when I announced that I would not be playing in the SBL this split, Purple talked to me. He said that he also did not want to play in the SBL this split because he knew he was going to have some sketchy traveling for work, and it probably just wasn't going to work out good for him. But in his exact words, he was very drunk at the time, but he told me that once he saw I was quitting, he knew he would have to play because he did not want on the wins to be able to be the best top laner in the SBL. And here we are. Purple has really done his part so far this series.
Top lane ended up being a lot more interesting than we thought we were going to be in the preseason. Going off on that as well, like, Sortimace has shown up hard.
Alright, 2 ghosts coming out of the purple team here, and Milk is going so hard on this Zac, and Simply Zac is simply dead.
Contagion
And
flash.
Milk gonna probably be able to Ragnarok out of this one.
Yep.
Contagion blew his flash trying to kill Wang there, but wasn't able to make it happen, so...
Yeah. Oh my god. I mean, bot and mid have been fairly even. Something we were kind of starting to expect after how this was going, especially with Nami being a lane bully. But this top half of the map, just brutal. Swain.
Milk is just gigantic.
Yeah, Milk's huge. She's had really good map pressure and movement each game.
Milk is up 1,200 gold on Zac in 8 minutes.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, they almost have a 3k gold lead at 8 minutes.
And now Cameron is trading pretty aggressively.
Oh yeah. And I mean, we have a gigantic CS lead in the top lane.
Yeah, that's a 800 gold lead for Purple Pickle Pie. Whereas the leads coming out for Danked by Mom are going to be about... Sorry, for... Contagio is in some trouble. He is really trying to hold on to this pool. And Wang with a god-awful flash there.
The return of the boosted flash.
And somebody, I think somebody just like called late. Like maybe his girlfriend walked in and was like, "Baby, you're about to make your first ever SBL final. How does it feel?" And he just, I have to start losing this game now. So while that was going on, Infernal Tech taken 5 without help.
Oh my
What?
goodness. Oh my.
Did he just W to the ward?
He W'd to the ward and it canceled his second half of his
Q
Q.
damage?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh, not like this.
Dude, Wynn's just gonna get dove. Like, Purple could just walk under tower and kill him right now.
Yeah, both junglers have sight of each other, so Purple knows what he's working with. Although he also knows that his jungler should be the substantially lower of the two. But Zac isn't doing anything to go help towards that top lane. He's going towards some Wang, and now he's at top river. Ooh, a big double coming out, but that's going to be completely blocked. Braum is a fun and engaging champion, and Carrier missing some big shot there, and Hit actually going to jump out.
Oh, shit.
But it doesn't matter, he gets the kill onto Hellraise. These have been some fun games, guys.
Yeah, no, I've been enjoying myself.
This is so much better for me than the JTLE TD2 series I had a cast last week.
Go fuck yourself.
Way better. That series was a lot better than watching my team play.
That's fair.
That was. I don't know if I can ever hold a team again, dude. It's so much anxiety when they're playing. So I'm like, all right, here's the draft. Go win now. I gotta make up some bullshit like, I believe in you guys, you have the better picks and you're the better players. Like, fuck that, Dumb Drum was on my team.
Right.
No one told him.
You guys-
said that. I guarantee he's not watching right now.
You guys can dual
He
cast,
doesn't
right?
have to know.
I'm gonna go cry in the corner for a bit. I'm good.
Careful, Tim. You might whip some more Yada ults there, too.
You have
Ow.
no reason to cry.
Ow!
We've just achieved Twitch chat relevancy.
Fuck.
Fucking got him.
Alright, so back to
At
this
least I
game.
did
Looking
something
at-
that game.
So, 2,200 gold lead sitting here for the Purple Pickle squad. And, I mean, there's a lot of ways they can go about playing with this lead.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you, Zach has to do something proactive. He's been running around the map not doing a whole lot of anything, and the power curve where Lee Sin's supposed to actually do something is slowly but surely getting worse and worse.
That is true. I'm gonna say this out just to clear a bit of misconception. Lisa does not fall off nearly as hard as a lot of people think because he still maintains excellent peel and... Oh, there you go.
Oh my god.
Things were going on in the bot lane. He has excellent peel and pick potential, but the thing is that implies that you're really good at Lee Sin. So that is not the case. So Lee Sin will fall off very hard this game.
The way I see it is that Lee Sin, he has a great early game. He does fall off really hard, but if you go late enough, he comes back. But in this top lane, I think we might see a dive here. And yes, the Veltmouth agrees with me. Both members diving in here, but the Veltmouth is going to not dive the tower. Wow.
Dangerous game. Passive is good, man.
And meanwhile, in this bot lane, he's going forward. He has to pop his heal. That will save 30's life here. I will say, every time I watch the bot lane, I feel like Gibbs and 30 are winning a trade, but it's been Cameron that's been slowly whittling at this tower and getting a CS lead. And this tower is maybe 1 or 2 creep waves from falling. There's also a first pick in the top lane.
We got first one.
Oh, that boomerang! Almost kills 30. And 30 does not have to help too much. Oh, Camber! He whips through auto attack! Camber is diving swing and he did not any click! And now that's 2 kills over to Dank by Mom.
That was...
I have never seen a Diamond AD carry miss so many auto attacks.
That was a really good flash by Hibbs. The flash to Glacial Fissure.
Really good flash by
really
Hibbs and a really bad flash by 30.
Yeah. Well, they can only have one good flash per lane, you know?
Okay.
I hate when a bad play gets rewarded. Like, I would rather see, like, great players just lose than see bad plays get rewarded.
So you're saying 30 should have died for his sins?
Yes, 30 should have 100.
What the?
There.
Wang, huh?
I think Wang confused himself.
Yeah.
It's like Pokemon.
Wait,
It hurt itself in confusion.
Alright, now we see Purple laying down the hurt. Wang laying down the hurt. Contagio.
Taking the
Very
hurt.
low
I don't know if he
here.
wants
He's gotta
this.
pop his... Wang! His name is Vladimir! He presses W and goes into a goddamn pool and dodges your whole fucking ult, you retard!
God
Oh,
man.
I hold my foot. Good talk down
Hey.
for that.
damn. Swift, are you marking your tally board for boosted Wang flashes?
Jesus
Because
Christ, dude.
that's number 2 for the board.
That was... You do
He had such a good game on Syndra last game, and this one is just like, what does Vladimir do?
Like, you do that once, and then you're like, oh yeah, Vladimir can just pool. That's why Vladimir is the counter pick in this matchup, because, like, I don't have kill pressure. But then he did it again. Wang is not a cerebral mid laner. He can be a
This is a
strong player, but smart he is not.
Oh man, this has been a great series, but definitely one of the saltiest in a while.
What happens when you take bottom 2 teams and cast. Alright, so here we go. Purple Pickle Pie with the big teleport in. On the way, still kind of far from this fight. And Purple is zoning all of Big by myself, and he gets this there, and it hits him a lot of something else. He is running like a motherfucker. But Purple is going to go down before any one of his before you get any kills with. And now we see the chase order on Contagio. He is going to be knocked up solo by Helmet, and Cammer is switching his team. He does not have a left dribble, but he's not going to be punished for that. Dragon for a kill, and DBM going to have the nice inside track onto this mid lane.
I don't know about that flash from Contagio. That was questionable at best.
Yeah. They're gonna probably be able to pick up this tower though, making it an overall very worthwhile play for DBM.
I mean, you gave up an Inferno Drake, though. I mean, that's...
Infernal Drake
you
at this
know.
point doesn't do shit.
It
But
doesn't
this
do
is
shit now, but it
this
could
is a
matter if
comp
this
that-
goes late.
It could matter if it
This
goes
is
late.
a comp that wants to go late, yeah.
I don't
The
know
Infernal
about that.
Dragon, like, it's a complicated trade.
I would rather take the tower than the Infernal Drake at this point for either team. Like, I'd rather have the other team Drake a Dragon and I get a tower.
It's always been one of those things I don't think either team has to feel bad about, though.
Oh,
But
no.
If
No.
Muffin Men are able to walk up mid lane and counter.
Okay, no, this is great then.
Definitely a
Yeah.
long win.
Yeah.
And there we go. We see that aforementioned dangerous wave clear out of Contagio going to lose half his health. So, while we maybe have a lull in the action, I want to talk about flat builds, because mid lane's obviously not my forte. That Proto Belt Rush, I don't feel like we've seen that often at Worlds. Am I correct?
You're
That's
correct.
More of a
That is-
low
Normally
thing?
it's Spirit Visage into Protobelt.
Spirit Visage Protobelt's really common. That build has been nerfed greatly. However, I still think this is a game where you could get away with the Spirit Visage Protobelt Rush because of the double AP. Like, this is... If not, he should be getting
good.
Vaulting forward for the solo kill, and him is dodging absolutely nothing. Duo on the other side, we're getting a big ult, but I don't think that's going to be enough. As Contagion goes down to Purple Pickle by now, Wind is on the flank here, but his stuns are not going to matter. Wang nowhere near with his balls though, but the axe going to hit. The knockup only going to get milked, and a second kill for Muffin Man going over to Howard this time.
Going back to what you were asking about mid lane, though, before the fight broke out, since they did a nerf buff to Vladimir, they buffed a bunch of his AP ratios, and they nerfed his HP ratio on his E. So it's kind of important for him to get an AP item on his first item now with the new patch, and then he can get a tank item if he wants.
Alright, so mid-tier 2 taken, that's going to balloon into a 5,500 gold lead for the Muffin Men, who look like they want it back. They've got 3 members with over 1,300 gold currently. Well, they're gonna casually take the Rift Herald while they're in the area.
I have to say, this is like the most I've seen Rift Herald taken in a best of 5 series ever.
That's how you know the shot calling is bad. They've taken Rift Heralds. Alright, I think Milk is going to be the sacrifice for the Rift Heralds. But for a second,
Sacrifice to the Rift Herald gods.
But for like a split second there, you guys could have totally seen Purple Pickle by going all in on that 1v2, couldn't you?
Yeah. I thought it might have happened for a second. I like the Spirit Visage pickup out of the swing here, second item. Going back to what I was saying with Vladimir, this is like ideal situation. If you're a champion that does generate a lot of life, both teams are double AP. That makes you really freaking tanky against them.
Alright, Cammer!
Hammer!
Alright, Cammer's gonna give his life to hold this down, but I don't think we're gonna see any further action here. No, I take that back. Heller wants to see some. No.
Cooler has prevailed. Helric is like, guys, I got this. Let's go, let's go. But there's no follow-up. I have to say, after the super strong start here from Purple and Milk, I'm surprised that this game has mellowed out so much.
Yeah, I will agree with that. They haven't really quite known how to press their advantage any harder.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
guess they've had some good trades. They've just had like one little thing go wrong on each of those trades. Like,
yeah.
there was that long trade that ended up with 2 towers made in an Infernal, but they also gave up a mid tower.
Yeah.
I guess, that wasn't really that long ago. But they're kind of struggling to set up the next play. But now we see Wang coming in, and oh my god, 30 gets insta-gib, and Ragnarok top by the belt milk. It looks like he wants to keep chasing.
He can't make up his mind.
Watching your bout milk like be indecisive in real time is so much fun.
Like, I like how he like started running out, then he runs in, then runs out, then runs back in. But this will be a second Infernal Drake going over.
Yeah, and Purple's putting down huge pressure in this top lane, which On the Wind does not have a teleport to match. Purple
Yeah.
does have a way into this fight. So they're going to force the engage here, and then Purple's presumably going to teleport for a 5v4. And here comes on the way. Purple going to be a little way from the wind gets given, but Cameron puts out a lot of damage on the outside of this fight, and Purple is on the other end, ready to be banked by Mom. Cameron also makes out, and Developmo is just soloing Dragon this whole time. It's a 1-for-1, and 30 has shown up. Jack Flash is in nowhere near that jungle. Meanwhile, on the other end of this fight, Halloran and Hibbs are fighting, and Halloran wins the supporting series duel. And now Milk and Purple are still kind of slapping around here. And Purple, he walks with a cane. He's not going to be able to chase anybody down.
Cannon boost 1. You ain't catching shit.
Alright, so that's going to be 3 dragons for the Muffin Men, who have 3 Infernals. Jesus Christ.
Oh! Getting hyphy.
This is rough if you're a 30s team.
Yeah.
Like, 3 Infernals means that no matter what happens, you lose late game. Like, you basically can't outscale that with any semblance of a count.
It's pretty freaking hard to do.
But you're also down 6,000 gold in the immediate future.
Yeah.
So you can't really force fights right now either. I feel like they need to just go for some kind of crazy home guard teleport play with On the Winds when that comes up.
Yeah, I mean, you saw like a little bit of like shining hope there, where because of how fast Kennen can force engages, they were able to get on top of Muffin Men there and started the fight off really strong before Purple could even get close to coming in with his teleport. It's just they were a little too slow on the on the calling. If they would have just run a little faster, had a little bit more follow up from the rest of their team, they could have maybe turned one of those low HP parts into another kill and then generated some more pressure off of it.
Here we go. Oh, there we go.
Oh, they want this blue buff.
Yeah, right now if I'm DBM, what I want most... Oh, man,
kill him.
Without a lot of damage. Ult on the Winds. He's going to survive it, though.
Oh. So they definitely can test this blue buff, though. Like, on the Wind super low.
I think they've secured this blue buff at this point. They're actually going to get some really good damage down on this.
They should take the tower.
And Melt with the Ghost. That's like scary Ghost summoner style. And he's going to force the defensive health power of Super Zack. Now, Lee Sin's in. Athensio goes in to deal Vladimir damage, but not going to succeed there. We see practically an instant over 3. And on the wind with the tilt engage, feels like he has to make a play and he's not going to.
Did Wind just ult and then flash away from them? What the hell just happened there?
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
Hang on, let's watch the
Yeah.
Yeah,
Purple.
he did. He ulted and then flashed away from the whole team. I don't get it.
Purple Picklefly is realizing his dream. Oh, and man, Purple Picklefly realizing even more of his dream as he flashes in. He gets the kill onto Hibbs. Taylor gets the kill onto Wind, and this is going to be the base cracked open, and a toppling inhibitor taken by the Muffin Men.
6-1-6 Devout Milk.
This has been an incredible turnaround since the first game of this series. After how poorly that went, oh my god, who's that? Somebody needs to tell me he doesn't have to take every single resonating strike.
Lee Syndrome is strong.
There's nothing showing up this series. Holy shit.
Yeah. After his
Absolutely.
atrocious game 1, he's looked really solid games 2 through 4.
Sometimes I watch Cameron do really basic stuff, like not run out of the enemy base in the same direction as his team, and it makes me so mad. Like, ugh. Fucking pre-made rookies, man. But, yeah, just really impressive that they managed to win early game so hard. And DBM, like, they didn't look great in early game last week, but they definitely looked better than this overall.
Yeah.
And it's rare that you can see a team win an entire best of 5 off of just dumping on early game.
I mean, but games 2 through 4, they've just gone even or better in every single matchup.
Yeah, one player I want to talk about, something a lot of people might not realize about Purple Pickle Pie, is at the start of the season, he had some sketchy work travel issues going on, and he wasn't able to practice much, and he hadn't been playing much before the season broke out. This was a guy that way before the draft I had wanted to get on my team if possible, because I had a feeling that come playoffs, by the time he'd actually gotten some practice reps in, he would be looking like a good player again. And he looked mediocre early in the season, but right now, tonight, he is looking like the Purple Pickle Pie that won first team All-Star top laner last of the SBL. And this is awkward and on top of the ward. On the Wind has his teleport available, and he's currently going for a recall. He wants to get this home guard teleport off, and here comes the engage. Hibbs is going to be popped before this fight even starts. Now, Wind is in his backline trying to do anything he can to get out of the lane, but he is not going to succeed. Wind is going to be the second best here, killing Sweeper on the Wind. And now Contagio going in, but Contagio is not getting enough of it. That's 0 for 3 and 30 being killed, 0 for 4.
That's the game.
And that is a huge creep wave in
Or
the top
wolves.
lane.
Was that?
And now-
You finish off this. It's
Simply Zach versus the world. Man, if I'm an 0-4-1 Lee Sin, I don't even want to take on the city at a time, man. Don't give me the whole goddamn world. And that was one of the worst calls I've ever made, Jesus Christ.
That was atrocious.
I'm gonna
Like,
call that Dang My Mom the play call. Yeah, you like that. You didn't think I had a long one to go with there, did you? And the desperation, ultimate despair coming in here out of Dang My Mom is they spawn just in time to not be able to defend their nexus.
holy crap.
And GG Series 1, 3-1 by the Muffin Men. And man, once they turned it on hard there.
Yeah. They look fucking solid.
Alright, real quick, we're going to see if we can get some interviews going.
I know who I want to interview.
I'm going to take a guess and say Purple.
Yeah. And then...
Yeah, I'm hoping to get Purple and Milk in here.
That's what I was thinking, like, based off performances. If we were going to do another one, I was thinking about was Wang, by the fact that Wang has never been in SBL finals till now.
I think we got to make Wang earn that interview.
That's
You got
fair.
one
was
series
moved
to
to
go.
your channel.
That's fair.
Alright, sorry guys,
User
we
was
didn't even
moved to
message
your
you.
channel.
You guys have been chosen for interviews.
Wait.
So, welcome to the Cassie booth, Purple Pickle Pie and Devout Milk. And Purple, I want to start with you here because I just got reminded of this halfway through Game 4 there. If we go back a few months prior to the draft, you were talking to me after I'd announced that I was not going to be playing in the SBL this season. You were intoxicated, and you told me that you absolutely knew that when you didn't think you'd be able to play because of work this season, that you had to play so that On the Wind would not be the best top laner in the league.
Well, that's
And
respect to On the Win as well. He's improved drastically.
is that your roundabout way of saying you were a fucking beast this series? Because you just bodied him, dude. You guys didn't look like you were in like the same stratosphere of top lane.
Yeah, I mean, game one I had to loosen up my hands a little bit, get them warm. So then from there on out, we just Baker styled them.
Well, Baker styling it was. So, Mill, going into that series, every season you've ever played in the SBL, you've been in the finals.
Correct.
Wang has never been in the SBL finals. One
Correct.
of you two had to prevail tonight, and hashtag Team Milk ended up winning. How do you feel about that?
I'm not gonna lie. I probably did put a lot of practice into this, probably more than a couple other teammates. Cough, cough, Wang. But you know, we all have real lives too. So, and honestly, it just comes down to like. Luckily, I didn't have much going on, so I just practiced a lot, and I kind of prepared for this matchup specifically because I knew Simply Zach, he's not the most aggressive jungler, and I really haven't been in previous SBLs if everyone has seen my play, so I kind of changed my gameplay coming into here, and especially after Worlds when, you know,
you see the Lee Sins, you see the Olafs, you see the Elises. Those are the kind of champions I like to play anyways too.
So are you telling me that like SBL is not the most important thing in your life?
Correct.
Holy shit! I kid. No. Good performance though. Your practice paid off.
Yeah, and Olaf's just a fun champion. I kind of screwed up the first game, if you guys saw, but
Yeah, I mean, the first game I was watching and I was like, all right, sweet, this is some vintage devout milk. I'm really excited to catch this. And you didn't give me any more of that. I was kind of upset about it, to be honest.
That was like the biggest turnaround ever, though. Game 1, to be frank, you just got dumped on, and then games 2 through 4, all of a sudden you're forcing a shit ton of map pressure and just crushing.
yeah, and I think a little bit of that is just coming in is like we were all kind of playing too safe game 1 because we didn't really know what's going on, and once we figured out what to do, we kind of just turned it on, me and Purple, and as you see, double kills early on, kind of snowballs the game.
So, taking things back for kind of a regular season recap note, you guys obviously had to play quite a few games with your sub, Isona Carey, who was maybe one of the more one-dimensional subs available who did not get any opportunities to Sona Carey. And I get the impression that behind the scenes you guys thought like you were a nice step up from all the other 2 and 3 teams. Am I correct in thinking you guys felt that way?
Without a doubt. There was a lot of switching around with compositions early on in the season, as well as practicing. We really didn't practice much. Got a lot of games in over the weekend, and we just treated this as really a solo queue game. We just had fun, and we just did whatever we normally do in solo queue, so...
Yeah, that's why game 2 was quite chaotic. We went into that one playing a solo queue game, so...
Alright. So who do you guys expect to see in the finals?
I don't really care.
Alright.
Most likely, it's what Fizz and J Splinter team is probably. I mean, going undefeated in the season kind of puts a statement down. So we'll see. We'll prepare for either matchup. So
Correct. We got a week.
You got 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 week
yeah,
break.
2 weeks.
Yeah, you got a week break.
Oh yeah, Olaf's fun, yo.
Alright,
So is
so
Jace.
one last question before we drop out of here. I just want to ask, what's it like playing with Camer? And more specifically, what's it like playing with Camer's Dick Squad cheering you guys on?
Pretty sure the dick sucking squad is what carried us through these games.
Holy shit, we've gone full LCS. You guys actually just came in here and told me that you do it for the fans.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Camer was supposed to be gifted Overwatch for last game if he got 20 kills. So we made sure he didn't get 20 kills.
I appreciate that. I'm scared he was going to come into the Bad Overwatch League and just start wrecking everybody.
Oh, he probably still will. He's just got to pay for the game now. So.
He's a child, dude. He probably doesn't even have a job yet.
I don't know. Pull him in here and ask.
Alright, so on that note, we're going to end it, guys. So thank you to everyone that watched. We had good viewer numbers all night, and that was a really, actually fun series to cast. You guys did a lot of things that were fun to watch tonight, even if it wasn't always great. It was mostly good, and that's the most you can ask for at the SBL. So congrats, guys. We'll catch you in 2 weeks in the finals versus the winner of Fizz on You Jace versus Joey's Top Lane Emporium, which will obviously be played next week.